Chapter 1465. Lunyan. Lunyan. He Zhenjiang grabbed Su Lunyan's hand emotionally. He could not stop his tears from falling when he saw her open her eyes. Zhenjiang. Su Lunyan didn't speak for a long time. She opened her mouth and only let out a weak breath, but there wasn't much sound. Great. You really woke up. I'm not dreaming. He Zhenjiang grabbed her hand and put it on his face. His eyes were full of tenderness and excitement. Su Lunyan smiled and looked around as if she was looking for something. What are you looking at? Asked He Zhenjiang. I think I saw a little girl. She brought me out of that dark place. Su Lunyan said. Yue was the one who woke you up. He Zhenjiang said. She's injured and is lying on the couch. There's really someone. Then she wasn't dreaming. Have a good rest. When you can get up, you will see her. He Zhenjiang comforted. Su Lunyan did not have any strength at this point in time, so she closed her eyes obediently. He Zhenjiang saw that she was resting with her eyes closed. After a while, he stood up and walked over to Sima Yue. Seeing that Sima Yue was still unconscious, he asked, How is she? I've already taken some pills. My condition has stabilized for now, Yinlang said. After a while, the butler said at the door, Master, the room next door is ready. Because they did not expect Sima Yue to be injured, they did not prepare a room for her. Knowing that she was injured, the butler immediately got someone to tidy up the room without any instructions. Lil Seven carried Sima Yue to another room, and the entire Sima family rushed over. They didn't care about the situation in the other room at all. Sima Yue did not know how long she had been unconscious. When she woke up, she felt a sharp pain in her head. When she moved slightly, she felt as if a tendon in her brain was being pulled. Hiss, she reached out to rub her forehead. She wanted to get up, but she didn't have the strength. You're awake. A gentle voice came from the top of her head. Following that, a beautiful and gentle lady came up and smiled at Sima Yue. Auntie? How are you? Sima Yue was a little surprised that the first person she saw when she woke up was her, so she asked subconsciously. Su Lunyan didn't expect that the first thing Lunyan did when she woke up was to show concern for her. Even though Lunyan looked so uncomfortable, the smile on her face deepened. I've almost recovered. She reached out to help Sima Yue up. It's all thanks to you. If it weren't for you, I would still be in a coma. It's good that you're all right. Sima Yue sat up and took out a pill for herself. I'm fine. You, on the other hand, got hurt because you tried to save me. Su Lunyan said gently with an apologetic tone. Sima Yue felt that Su Lunyan was really beautiful and gentle. She gave off the feeling of a girl from Jiangnan in her previous life, which was rare in this mainland. At this moment, Yinlang came in. Seeing that Sima Yue had woken up, he said, You've been sleeping for 10 days. You're finally awake. Sima Yue rubbed her head and said, Why are you still here? Of course I'm here to take care of you, Yinlang said. You don't know how many good herbs I've wasted while you were in a coma. You're still in pain after so many days. It seems like your good stuff isn't that great either. Sima Yue attacked him mercilessly. However, she was still grateful to him. She was well aware of the severity of her injuries. If he didn't use so many good things, she would be in even more pain now. After all, it was troublesome to injure one's divine sense. Those things were taken from my storage room. When did they become yours? He Zhenjiang, who followed behind, scoffed. He came to Su Lunyan's side and said, Didn't I ask you to rest in the house? Why did you come here? The Sima family left. Of course I had to come over to take a look. Su Lunyan said. Moreover, she's my savior. I'll feel bad if I don't do anything when I see her injured. Did something happen to the Sima family? Sima Yue asked. If it wasn't something, based on Grandma's character, they wouldn't leave her here. He Zhenjiang was silent for a while and said, Something did happen to the Sima family. But it's not very serious. It's just a little dangerous, so I left you here. Sima Yue frowned. His words were obviously contradictory. However, she couldn't do anything in her current state. Where's little Seven? She was still in the house just now. She disappeared in the blink of an eye. Su Lunyan looked around and didn't see little Seven. Sima Yue frowned. Little Seven wouldn't leave her before she woke up. Did something happen to her? Yu. Little Seven ran in from outside. Seeing that Sima Yue had woken up, she pounced over. Yu, you're finally awake. Sima Yue hugged her back and said, "Where did you go?" "I heard some movement outside just now, so I went out to take a look. It's fine now," Little Seven said. "Is it Grandpa and the rest?" Sima Yue guessed it immediately. "It's the Jiang family who came looking for trouble. But it's fine now. Don't worry," Little Seven said. Sima Yue responded and didn't ask any more questions. Even Little Seven ran over to help. Was the Sima family's matter a small matter? She was the fuse of this matter, but she couldn't do anything. This made her feel a little guilty. "Don't think too much. We're still in Cord City. If something really happened, we wouldn't just stand by and watch." Su Lunyan saw through her thoughts and comforted her. "Thank you, Aunt He. Now that I'm awake, I won't disturb you." She wanted to go back to the inn to take a look. "You want to go back?" No matter what happens, I still want to go back," Sima Yue said. "No way. Your grandpa handed you over to us when he left. You haven't fully recovered from your injuries. How can we let you leave? If something happens, how do you want me to explain to your grandpa and the rest?" Yizhenjiang said. Sima Xiuqi and the rest said before they left that they must protect her. So they couldn't let her leave He residence now. "You don't worry," Little Seven said. "The matter has been resolved. Those people have been sent flying by me. Grandma was worried that you would think too much, so she asked me to come back first." "All right, don't think about it. You should recuperate well." "Really? When have I ever lied to you?" Little Seven pouted. Sima Yue was still worried. Until Huang Yingying and Sima Luxian came to see her, she really believed that the Sima family was fine now. Chapter 1466. Seeing that Sima Yue had woken up, Huang Yingying and the rest were relieved. "Yue, how do you feel?" "I'm fine," Sima Yue said. "Grandma, what happened to the family? Now that you're here, how are things over there?" "It was the Jiang family that came to cause trouble, but your great-grandfather brought people to beat them back. It's nothing. Don't worry about it," Huang Yingying said indifferently. "What you need to do now is to recuperate." Sima Yue nodded and said, "My injuries are almost healed. I'll give Aunt He a final checkup in 2 days and then I can leave." "All right," Huang Yingying said. "We have officially fallen out with the Jiang family, and the family does need people. Your grandfather and the others have already gone back. We'll go back once you've recovered." "All right." 2 days later, He Zhenjiang and Su Lunyan were not surprised to know that Sima Yue and the rest were leaving. "Yue, Chongzhou and Cord City aren't too far away. If you need us to do anything, just send us a message and we'll bring people over immediately." Su Lunyan grabbed her hand and said affectionately. "I will," Sima Yue said. "Maybe I'll have to trouble you. If there's anything, just say it." He Zhenjiang held Su Lunyan's waist. "You can say that you saved Aunt He's life. We don't have any children, so you are our child." "Thank you, Uncle He." Sima Yue was not pretentious. The Sima family's status in the inner circle was a little low. It was good to have more external help. "I really envy Lu Xian for having such an outstanding daughter. If our child was still alive, I wonder what she would be like," Su Lunyan said sadly. "The dead are gone, Aunt He, don't be too sad." Sima Yue said. "Oh right, there's something I forgot to tell you." "What?" "My previous judgment was a little wrong. It wasn't the ghost clan that imprisoned Aunt He's soul." "Not a ghost? But didn't you say that it was done by the ghost clan?" He Zhenjiang was surprised. If the reason was wrong, how could Su Lunyan be saved? "I did sense the aura of death," Sima Yue said. "At first, I thought it was ghost chi used by the ghost clan. But when I went to wake Aunt He up, I realized it was just death chi, not ghost chi." "What's the difference?" Su Lunyan was confused. "The ghost clan's ghost chi comes from the ghost realm, while the death chi comes from the dead," Sima Yue said. "To put it simply, the ghost aura only exists when a soul goes to the world of spirits and spirits. The one who attacked you was just a dead person." "Dead people? How did the dead attack?" Generally speaking, after a person dies, their soul has to enter the world of spirits and souls to start anew. If you stay in the human world for any reason, you won't be able to cultivate. Sima Yue explained. But the one who attacked you is already dead, but his soul was left in the human world, and he cultivated very well. Su Lunyan recalled the scene at that time and said, "It seems a little strange. Those who attacked me did look like dead people. Their pale faces had no color at all. Are you sure it's a person and not a soul?" Sima Yue asked. "It's indeed a person," Su Lunyan said with certainty. "If it wasn't for the treasure on me that protected my soul at the crucial moment, I think I would have ended up like my maids." Dead people. Sima Yue frowned, not knowing what was going on. Those should be dead bodies. Sima Luxian said, "I heard Kaluo say that if a person dies and holds his soul in his body and refines it, he can turn into a dead body. Why did those people do that to the dead body? The combat power of the dead body is stronger than the soul body, and they can still maintain the strength they had when they were alive." Sima Luxian said, "But this is called sorcery in the ghost realm. How can someone know this?" "It seems that Uncle He, you have to be more careful when you investigate," Sima Yue said. "I will be careful." He Zhenjiang's face was solemn. If what Sima Yue said was true, then the person he was investigating was someone who knew sorcery. The enemy was in the dark while he was in the light. This was quite dangerous. "I think it's better not to let outsiders know about the news of Aunt He waking up for the time being, in case those people are desperate," Sima Yue said. "The news of Aunt He waking up hasn't spread out yet, right?" "It hasn't. In order to ensure your safety, I have sealed off this courtyard. Lunyan hasn't left either," He Zhenjiang said. "But those people outside have been waiting for the results of your treatment. I still want to tell them about your medical skills." "There's no need for that. It's fine even if they think that my medical skills aren't good," Sima Yue said. "Anyway, I don't know them. I don't need them to affirm my medical skills. Your safety is more important now." He Zhenjiang and Su Lunyan were a little moved. At their level, there were very few people who truly cared about them. "Uncle He, if you find out anything, can you let me know if it's possible? I'm more interested in this kind of thing," Sima Yue said. "All right. You can control the death aura. We might need your help when the time comes," He Zhenjiang said. "That's good. Aunt He's body is fine now. Grandma and I will go home first. Take this, remember what I said. Inform us if you need anything," He Zhenjiang reminded. Sima Yue took the token and found that it was the same as Yinlang's. "This is the same as Yinlang's. With this, you can find me directly, or you can ask for help from the Chu family outside." He Zhenjiang saw through her thoughts and said, "Thank you, Uncle He." Sima Yue kept the token and left the He residence with Huang Yingying and Sima Luxian. When she went out, she saw the people who were guarding outside. After seeing her, those people pointed at her, meaning nothing more than that she made such a big commotion before. But the result was the same. Only In Su looked at her differently. Sima Yue guessed that it was because the profound moon fruit was already in her hands. They went back to the inn to pick up Musi. Then they saw Yinlang when they came out. She didn't see him at the He residence before. Now that he appeared, it should be In Su who told him. "Are you sure you want to go with me?" Sima Yue asked. He also knew about the Sima family and Jiang family. If he still followed her at this time, he would inevitably be involved in this matter. "I said, before I understand what kind of feelings you are talking about, I will always follow you." Yinlang was still the same, as if nothing happened here. "You said it." Sima Yue looked at him. "Then let's go together." Chapter 1467. Chongzhou was one of the biggest cities in Yi County. It was also the city where the Sima family lived. In this city, nearly half of the people were members of the Sima family, or were related to this family. The remaining half had to rely on the Sima family. Therefore, the Sima family had the absolute right to speak here. When Sima Yue and Sima Luxian arrived, they caused a huge commotion. All the people saw Sima Luxian. The genius they were once proud of ended up like this because he got together with the princess of the Ghost clan. Seeing those people pointing at Sima Luxian, Huang Yingying was very angry. She wanted to get angry, but was stopped by Sima Luxian. Mother, those people didn't do anything wrong. I don't care, so don't take it to heart. He advised. These people are all on Sima Tu's side. Seeing that your father and I gave up our rights in the family, they dared to be so brazen. Huang Yingying had a straightforward personality. She was furious when she saw those people. Grandmother, don't be angry. The angrier you are, the happier they are. Sima Yue said. Since those people are so powerful, they must have a way to detoxify their young mistress. My method of suppressing the poison can only suppress it for 2 to 3 months. Including the time she was poisoned. Their young miss only has 2 to 3 months left. They are not in a hurry to take Sima Luxi's life. If they want to shout here, then let them. Although she kept smiling, her voice was abnormally cold. Moreover, her voice was clearly not loud, but it spread throughout the entire street, causing those people to stop. No one dared to say another word. Jiang Shui had returned with Sima Luxi a few days earlier. What had happened in Chu City had also spread throughout the city. As soon as they heard that Sima Luxian's daughter refused to treat Miss Shi, the people here were unhappy and waited for them to come back, so that they could embarrass him. Who would have thought that Sima Yue would grab their lifeline the moment she opened her mouth? Currently, only she could cure Sima Luxi's poison. Sima Yue saw that they had quietened down, and the corner of her mouth curled into a sneer. She continued, City Lord Lang, I heard that they came to look for you again. Why don't you give them the antidote pill formula so that they won't pester me when we return? How can that be? Yin Lang directly refused. Since I've already given you the pill formula as the most important condition in exchange, I naturally have to abide by the agreement and can't give it to anyone else. Otherwise, wouldn't I become a person who breaks my promise? When did I ask you not to give it to others? Sima Yue asked. Although you didn't ask for it, I did ask for myself. Yin Lang said seriously. I've always been a man of my word, so I can't tell anyone else about this. Sima Yue stared at Yin Lang and sighed. She did not say anything and looked very helpless. The people who heard their conversation became anxious. It seemed like she was the only one who could save Miss Shi. This was really depressing news. Sima Yue held Sima Luxian's hand, and Sima Luxian patted her hand. Seeing that she had done all these for him, his heart felt very warm. Although he really didn't care about what they said, he felt that it was worth it to have such a considerate daughter. They walked through half of the city and finally arrived at the Sima family. This Sima family's residence was much more imposing than the Yiling continent's Sima family. There were layers of houses that one couldn't see the end of at a glance. The main door was 100 feet wide, and there was a protective array made of gems on it. Even a battle between paragons could not easily damage this door. It's really imposing. Sima Yue stood in front of the door and looked up at the gems on it and exclaimed, Your Sima family's door is even more imposing than our door. It was Yin Lang's first time seeing the Sima family's door. He didn't expect there to be such a magnificent residence in this state. These were built when our ancestors came here. At that time, the family had just arrived here and was stronger. In order to hide the loss of moving, they built such a door. Huang Yingying explained. This door looks a little old, but the gems on it are just put there not long ago. Yin Lang said. Sima Yue glanced at him and said, Let's go. Yin Lang touched his nose. He was just telling the truth. The Sima family and the Jiang family had been fighting fiercely recently. In order to make the protective array strong enough to protect the family, the Sima family did change the spirit stones. The news of Sima Luxian and Sima Yoyue's return shook the entire Sima family. Everyone thought they were going to return to the family. They even got the news that they were outside the door. But after waiting for a long time, they didn't see them come in. Where's young miss? Sima Zhiyuan waited anxiously at home, so he went out to look for them. However, there was no one outside the door. Sima Yue and Sima Luxian were nowhere to be seen. Young Miss said that the Sima family's door is really imposing, but she didn't have an invitation from the Sima family and didn't bring a visiting card. She won't go in today. She will visit again when she has the chance. The guard replied in a trembling voice. When they heard Sima Yue say, Let's go, they thought she was going in. But she turned around and left. The few guards were stunned. Then, someone reacted and asked her why she didn't go in. She gave such an answer. Sima Zhiyuan and the people behind him heard Sima Yoyue's words, and the corners of their mouths twitched. She was saying that she wasn't a member of the Sima family, and couldn't enter the Sima family's door casually. This little girl, what is she doing now? Sima Zhiyuan scolded. He asked the guard where she left, and wanted to go look for her. Don't be anxious. Sima Hishun pulled him back. Yue has her own thoughts. What thoughts does she have? I finally managed to coax her to the door, but she doesn't want to enter. I have to bring her back. She's not a member of the Sima family. Even if you call her, she won't come back. Sima Hishun said. If you want her to come in, the most direct way is to acknowledge Lu Xian, and let him enter the family tree again. She will only come back when Lu Xian comes back. She would only be willing to come back when Sima Lu Xian returned to the family. This was something that everyone understood long ago. Sigh. Sima Zhiyuan sighed, then jumped up and said, I'll go and enter their family tree tomorrow. After speaking, he chased after Sima Yue and the others. Where are you going now? Someone called out from behind. To relax. Sima Zhiyuan left without looking back. She wasn't willing to come home now. Couldn't he go look for her? In order to let her come home, his heart was broken. It was all Jiang Shue's fault. If it wasn't for them poisoning Yue when she was young, why would she not be willing to come back now? Now they even dared to contact the Jiang family to cause trouble. See how he would deal with them later. Chapter 1468. Sima Yue had guessed that Sima Zhiyuan would come looking for her. Seeing his angry face, she giggled and said, Great-grandfather, didn't we agree to go back once we've settled the things in the past? It's not like we're not going back. Why are you pulling a long face? The news that you sent back said that you would think of a way to make them jump out, but you didn't say that you wouldn't go back even though you're already at your doorstep. Sima Zhiyuan was depressed. He had been so excited just now. But if I don't stay outside, how can I lure them to make a move? Sima Yue said. Everyone knows that as long as I go back, you will protect me from all angles. How would they have the chance to do anything? But this is too risky. Sima Zhiyuan looked at her disapprovingly. Great-grandfather, don't worry. This is your territory. Do you think they can kill me? Sima Yue was not worried at all. Don't worry. Sima Zhiyuan's eyebrows furrowed deeply. Seeing that he couldn't get through to her, he felt very helpless. She was really a stubborn little girl. It seemed like he had no choice but to send more people here. Sima Yue understood what he was thinking, but she really didn't want Sima Lu Xian, who had no ability to protect himself, to return to a dangerous family. If he left to look for the divine medicine, and Huang Yingying and the others were careless, it would be too late for him to regret. Therefore, she had to get rid of the danger before she returned. The old ancestor. It's almost done. That's good. For the rest, we just have to follow the plan. All right. In a courtyard near the main house of the Sima family, Jiang Shui threw the teacup in her hand onto the floor. The crisp sound made everyone in the room tremble slightly. That little b*tch, she actually dares to come here. Jiang Shui scolded. Mother Sheer fell into a coma again. Let's go find that little slut again and let her detoxify Miao Shihua said. What's the point of looking for her now? If she was willing, she would have done it long ago. Jiang Shui said angrily. Are we just going to watch Sheer die like this? Mother Sheer is the hope of our bloodline. Shut up. You only know how to cry all day long. What is this? Jiang Shui shouted. Miao Shihua wanted to cry, but she didn't dare to. She looked weak and incompetent. Where was the arrogant and domineering appearance that he usually had outside? Then what about Sheer? Jiang Shui looked at her with disdain. I just said that I won't beg her. It's not like I won't let her cure Sheer. Mother, you want to... Miao Shihua looked at Jiang Shui in surprise. But didn't Uncle Hishun not allow us to touch her? The Sima family doesn't even put us in their eyes, so why should we listen to them? They were heartless to us, so they can't blame us for being unjust. Jiang Shui's eyes flashed with determination. Mother, do you want to destroy the Sima family? I don't think so. However, Sima Zhiyuan has been the head of the family for long enough. It's time for a change. Miao Shihua's eyes flashed with joy. Jiang Shui would definitely not become the head of the household. Wouldn't that mean that the choice of the head of the household would be her husband, Sima too? Wouldn't she be the wife of the head of the household? As long as they became the head of the household, couldn't they let Sima Yue cure Er's poison? Mother, do you need us to do anything? Forget about you. With your current appearance, you will only cause trouble no matter what you do. Jiang Shui didn't give her any face at all. The Jiang family and I will arrange this matter. Just behave yourself and don't give yourself away. You can leave. Yes. Miao Shihua was dissatisfied with Jiang Shui, but she didn't dare to show it. She bowed to Jiang Shui and then left. No one saw the deep hatred in her lowered eyes. An old woman had always beaten and scolded her, and wouldn't give her any face in front of the servants. When she became the wife of the head of the household, she must return all the grievances she had suffered over the years to her. She returned to her courtyard and saw her daughter lying on the bed sleeping again. Her heart ached. Madam, what did the old madam say? The maid who was wiping Sima Luxi's hands saw Miao Shihua return, and got up to ask. This maid was called Miao Chao. She was Miao Shihua's dowry maid and later became Sima Luxi's wet nurse. Therefore, she still had some status in front of Miao Shihua. Mother didn't allow me to beg her. Miao Shihua sat on the bed. She said she has her own plans and doesn't allow me to touch her. What about Miss? Miao Chao said worriedly. Mrs. body is getting worse and worse. Although she is sleeping, the vitality in her body has obviously decreased. If this continues, I'm afraid that even if the poison is cured, her body won't be able to recover. Miao Shihua reached out and stroked her daughter. How could I not know? It's all my fault for not believing that little bitch at that time. Otherwise she wouldn't have suffered like this. Madam, don't blame yourself. You didn't pay attention to the situation at that time. Miao Chao explained. After all, those things happened back then. If she knew or hated us, she would take the opportunity to take Mrs. life. That's expected. But everyone else's poison has been cured. Now only she is still like this. Miao Shihua said. Originally, there was still a glimmer of hope. But mother killed her, making her unwilling to cure Shi. Old madam has a bad temper. We shouldn't have let her know about this. Miao Chao sighed. If it weren't for her, things wouldn't have developed like this. At that time, if we didn't tell the family, how could that little bitch agree to cure those people? Miao Shihua said. I just didn't expect things to develop like this. Then what should we do now? Miss can't hold on for much longer. Miao Chao said with heartache. She asked me to wait. But where do I have time to wait now? Miao Shihua said. No, I have to deal with this matter first. Since it's already like this, it's better to catch her. When the time comes, there will be a way for her to cure Miss. Miao Chao said. But the family had sent a lot of people to protect that little bitch. Mother didn't allow us to touch her. Madam, you forget that we have our own strength. Miao Chao said. Although our Miao family can't be compared to the Sima family, we can still deal with those guards. It's just that Miss can't wait anymore. Miao Shihua looked at her daughter with heartache. For we can only do this. Chao, go and contact the Miao family's strength here. Bring that little bitch to me in 2 days. Yes, madam. At night, Sima Yue heard movement outside and opened her eyes. It was a bit beyond her expectations that they would find her so quickly. Chapter 1469. Little Seven was lying on the table, and sat up when she heard the commotion outside. Are they from the Jiang family? She looked at Sima Yue with bright eyes. Sima Yue sat up and said, I don't know, but they are guests. Since they are here, let's ask them to stay. Sima Yue called out all her beasts. Little Seven alone was not enough in the inner region. Although Ye Guang and the others were weaker, 2 of them were enough to fight against one of those people. Sima Yue had set up an enchantment before that allowed people to enter but not leave. It could also isolate the sound of the battle. So even though the small courtyard was overturned, no one could hear anything from outside. Little Seven and the others caught all of them. There were more than 20 monarch ranked high level. These people don't seem to be from the Jiang family. Little Seven grabbed a person's hair and lifted his head. She searched his body with her other hand, but didn't find anything that could identify him. Hua Hua stepped forward and pulled the person's sleeve. She saw a pattern embroidered on it. There's a pattern here. Miao family. Sima Luxian, who came out from another house, recognized the pattern. These people are from the Miao family. Miao family? Miao Shihua? Sima Yue was a little surprised. It seems that Sima Luxi's situation made them lose their composure. I thought they would be from the Jiang family. Little Seven threw away the hair in her hand. The person fell to the ground and made a crisp sound. It doesn't matter if they are not from the Jiang family. The Miao family can still be used. Sima Yue said, lock these people up. They will be useful in 2 days. Ye Guang and the others took those people down. Sima Luxian walked over and said, although the Miao family is not as good as the Jiang family and Sima family, they are still a third-rate force. But these people should be the dowry of Miao Shihua. Miao Shihua and Jiang Shui are on the same boat. It's the same whether the Miao family or the Jiang family comes. Sima Yue said, when I discussed with my great-grandfather, we expected that the Jiang family would wait a few days before making a move. Our plan will be delayed for a few days. Now we can catch Jiang Shui off guard. According to their plan, Jiang Shui would let the Jiang family deal with her. That would be the time to shed all pretense of cordiality with Jiang Shui. However, at that time, Jiang Shui would also be prepared. Now that they had this, they also had a reason. The next morning, Sima Yue came with her men. She threw him in front of the Sima family's gate, which immediately attracted a lot of people. Go and tell the Sima family head and Miao Shihua to come out and get them, Sima Yue said to the guard. The guard looked at Sima Yue. Although he did not know what was wrong with her, he followed the orders of the head of the family to report her arrival immediately. Very quickly, Sima Zhiyuan and the others rushed over. When Miao Shihua saw the people tied up on the ground, her body couldn't help but tremble. She had already guessed that those people had not returned last night. However, he did not expect Sima Yue to come to his door so soon. Yue, what's wrong? Sima Zhiyuan's eyes narrowed when he saw those black-robed men. Did someone secretly hurt her? However, the guard did not send back any news. Great-grandfather, I'm here to settle the score with Miao Shihua. Sima Yue said. I just came to Chongzhou yesterday and was assassinated at night. I think I have the right to ask for an explanation. These people are? The Miao family. Ye Guang stepped forward and tore off a person's sleeve violently, revealing the pattern on his forearm. Seeing that pattern, Sima Zhiyuan was irritable and shouted at Miao Shihua. You actually sent people to kill Yue? Did you turn a deaf ear to my words? Sima Zhiyuan was really angry. It was fine that Jiang Shui relied on the Jiang family, but this Miao Shihua actually came out to cause trouble for him. After messing up the plan to deal with the Jiang family, they had to redeploy. I didn't want to kill her. I just asked people to invite her to treat Er's illness. Miao Shihua retorted. Do you need so many people to invite me to treat her illness? Sima Yue snorted coldly. Previously you tried to kill me because you failed to threaten me. If it wasn't for my grandparents who risked their lives to protect me, I would have lost my life long ago. Now that you've sent so many people, I'm afraid it's not as simple as inviting me. Great-grandfather, don't be biased towards her. I must ask for an explanation for what happened last night. What do you want? Of course, a life for a life, a debt of blood for blood, Sima Yue said. You dare? Miao Shihua shouted. Why wouldn't I dare? Sima Yue laughed coldly. You dare to send people to kill me, I will naturally take revenge for myself. This is the Sima family, you can't do as you wish. This is outside the Sima family, my matters are not up to the Sima family to meddle in. Today, even if I want your life, the Sima family won't dare to say anything. How arrogant. Sima Tu and Jiang Shui rushed over when they heard the news. They snorted coldly. Sima Yue, if you want to return to the family, I advise you not to be too arrogant. Someone shouted. Sima Yue glanced at the person who spoke. She didn't know him and didn't care. "Mier," she ordered faintly. Everyone felt their vision blur. They didn't even see how Mier appeared and how he caught Miao Shihua. When he stopped, Miao Shihua had already been caught and brought to Sima Yoyue's side. "Mother!" The man who spoke just now exclaimed in shock. "Ugh!" Miao Shihua's throat was choked. Her hands instinctively grabbed Mier's hands. "Let her go." Sima too saw his wife being caught and immediately attacked Mier. One couldn't tell that he was an infatuated person. Little Seven quickly went up and didn't let him get close to Mier and the rest. Sima too didn't walk the path of body refinement. His body wasn't very strong. When he fought with Little Seven, she caught him in 2 rounds and brought him to Miao Shihua's side. His throat was also choked. As long as she used a little more strength, he would die. "Sima Yue, how dare you?" Jiang Shui shouted. When Miao Shihua was caught at first, she didn't plan to show up. This stupid woman, she had already warned her not to act rashly. She didn't expect her to forget her words, and even cause trouble for herself. This kind of person who couldn't do anything but spoiled things. If she died, then so be it. However, she didn't expect Sima too to be caught too. This was her precious son. She couldn't help but care. "Old witch, why wouldn't I dare?" Sima Yue looked at Jiang Shui. "I've never been soft-hearted to people who want to kill me. They came looking for me. They can't blame me." After saying that, she wanted to attack Mier and Little Seven. "You're courting death." Jiang Shui quickly condensed her spiritual energy and attacked Sima Yue. Last time, Sima Xiuqi and Huang Yingying protected her. This time, there was no one by her side. Let's see how she could escape. Chapter 1470. Sima Yue stood rooted to the ground as someone moved at that moment. Bang! The spiritual power was deflected halfway, and finally landed in a place where there was no one, smashing a huge hole in the street in front. Jiang Shui saw Sima Zhiyuan standing in front of Sima Yue and said with a dark expression, "What do you mean by this?" "I should be the one asking you what you mean," Sima Zhiyuan shouted. "You dare to kill my granddaughter?" "She wants to kill my son," Jiang Shui shouted. "That's because your son was courting death." "Sima Zhiyuan, don't be too biased. This disciple is a member of the Sima family," Jiang Shui said. "Are you sure you want to attack your own family for an outsider?" They were the ones who asked for it." Sima Zhiyuan snorted coldly. Since they dared to lay their hands on others, they should have been prepared to be killed by others. "He's my son, who dares to touch him?" Jiang Shui shouted. "You better let her go, or else." "Otherwise what?" Sima Zhiyuan interrupted her. "Do you really think that your plans will succeed?" Jiang Shui's expression changed as she asked, "What plan?" Even Miao Shihua's heart skipped a beat. Did they all know? "Didn't you want to kick me out and let your son be the head of the family?" Sima Zhiyuan said. "Aren't you still thinking of getting the Jiang clan to help you? So you're still waiting for the Jiang clan to rush over?" "What are you talking about? I don't understand." Jiang Shui denied. She had indeed sent the news to the Jiang family yesterday. They had also said that they would send someone over. However, it would take some time for them to come over quietly. She thought that she had done it secretly enough. How did Sima Zhiyuan find out? She subconsciously looked at Miao Shihua and saw that she was also very surprised. She knew that she was not the one who leaked it. Could it be that there was a traitor among her people? Don't think about who said it, and don't think about denying it. Since I can say so, I must have evidence. Sima Zhiyuan blocked her words. Since he had already said so, there was no point in her denying it. "Jiang Shui, you really..." Some of the people who had just heard the news looked at her in shock. They knew that she had always been strong and wanted to show off her abilities. They had always thought that it was because she lacked a man to lead the family, so they had always tolerated her more outrageous behavior. However, this didn't mean that he could tolerate her doing things that were detrimental to the Sima family. Sima Zhiyuan, as the patriarch, you are always unfair and have brought so much trouble to the Sima family. We've sacrificed so much for the family, but we haven't been treated fairly. Why can't we obtain equal rights for ourselves?" Jiang Shui said. "That's right. Sima Zhiyuan, you old bastard, you should have given up your position to me a long time ago." Only when I become the head of the Sima family can the Sima family be revitalized and return to its former glory. Sima too suddenly shouted. Humph, when I become the patriarch, I'll send all of you who look down on me to hell. Sima too. Those who had been scolded by Sima too shouted. You're an evil creature. I'm an evil creature? They are the ones who are evil creatures, okay? Sima too pointed at Sima Luxian and Sima Yuyue. If he hadn't colluded with that ghost clan bitch, how would our family have been oppressed by other forces? The funny thing is that this old bastard is still protecting them, just because he's your grandson. I heard that when I was in the family someone poisoned me to death. Did you do that? Sima Yue asked. Of course. But I didn't expect that a bitch like you would be so lucky. I used so many poisons but you didn't die. It seems that you are indeed a demon. Sima too spat. Sima too. Sima Zhiyuan heard him admit that he had done something to the young Sima Yue. He couldn't help but feel angry. Old bastard, go ahead and scream. You don't have many days left to scream anyway. Sima too dug his ears with his hands. When my mother and the Jiang family kill you, I will be the patriarch of the Sima family. I just need to endure for a few days. Bam. Sima too didn't finish his words because Sima Zhiyuan couldn't control his anger and ran over to punch him heavily. 2. What did you do to him? Jiang Shui shouted. Actually, we didn't do much. We just fed him the truth pill when you weren't paying attention. Sima Yue said. I just wanted to ask if you guys were the ones who tried to kill me. I didn't expect him to say everything that was in his heart. After speaking, she shrugged her shoulders, indicating that this was not what she expected. Jiang Shui, our Sima family has treated you well for so many years. Why are you so heartless? Even Sima Hishun was angry, his words full of disappointment. Humph, treated me well? Ha ha ha. Sima Hishun. Don't you feel that your words are slapping your face? Jiang Shui laughed. If you really treated us well, why would my bloodline be suppressed in the family? Why are you talking so much nonsense with her? With her personality, no matter how much you do for her, she won't think it's enough. Sima Zhiyuan said. Let's not talk about what they did in the past. What they want to do now is enough to convict them. Convict them? Jiang Shui looked at Sima Zhiyuan. You guys aren't worthy. Is that so? You're still a member of the Sima family now. See if you're worthy. Capture them. Sima Zhiyuan waved his hand and a group of guards ran out from the main door, surrounding Jiang Shui and the others. Sima Zhiyuan, are you going to fall out with us? Didn't you choose this yourself? Sima Zhiyuan snorted coldly. Jiang Shui looked at the guards and calculated her chances of winning. You're not allowed to capture grandmother. Many people ran out and surrounded Jiang Shui. These people were from this bloodline, and they all ran out after hearing the news. They might not care much about Jiang Shui, but her life and death would affect their future. If she died, they wouldn't have a good ending in the Sima family. Of course, part of the reason was because of the power that Jiang Shui had left in their hearts. Sima Zhiyuan looked at the disciples of the family and said, You guys have to think carefully. As the younger generation of the family, I'll give you one more chance. If you insist on being with Jiang Shui, then you won't be a member of the Sima family anymore. If you admit your mistakes now, you'll still be a member of the Sima family in the future. Do you think that without grandmother, you can still stand in the Sima family in the future? Sima Tu's son shouted. Those people looked at each other and hesitated. Chapter 1471. They were just a branch of the Sima family. If they wanted to fight against the Sima family as a whole, they definitely had no chance of winning. However, if there was no Jiang Shui, would there still be a place for their branch in the Sima family? Thinking about what they had done in the past, the answer was obvious. One was to die now, the other was to drag out an ignoble existence. They didn't know which to choose. Who dares to touch my aunt? A shout was heard. Everyone looked over and saw Jiang Yinlong leading a group of people over from the streets. Sima Yue looked at Jiang Yinlong. She seemed to remember that this person's seniority was about the same as her great-grandfather's. Jiang Shui was actually his aunt. It seemed like her position in the Jiang family was quite high. Sima Zhiyuan, Jiang Shui is my Jiang family's aunt. Don't you dare touch her. Jiang Yinlong came to Jiang Shui's side and confronted Sima Zhiyuan. Jiang Yinlong, this is my Sima family's territory. Sima Zhiyuan was a little surprised that the Jiang family would come so quickly. It seemed like they had spent a lot of money in order to get the Sima family. He glanced at the direction they came from without a trace. They dared to come in so brazenly, so there should be more than just these few people. It's your Sima family's territory now. In a while it won't be. Jiang Yinlong said. You want to swallow us? That depends on whether you have the ability to do so. Sima Zhiyuan looked at them disdainfully. Sima Yue looked at them a little bored. These people always liked to chatter before a fight, and say a bunch of nonsense. Wasn't it to show others that they were powerful and right? But it was useless. It seemed like she had to do something fierce. Little Seven and Mi-Er knew what she was thinking. She hadn't given the order, but they had already taken action, and killed the people in their hands. That was because they were getting impatient from waiting. The two of them threw the lifeless people on the ground at the same time, and wiped their hands in disgust. Disciple. Father, mother. Grandfather, grandmother. Even the Jiang family members were stunned. Sima Tu and Miao Shihua really died just like that? They didn't dare to believe it. Sima Tu and Miao Shihua had never thought that they, the all-powerful figures in the 64 prefectures, would die just like that. Since you dared to lay your hands on you should have been prepared to die. Little Seven said as she kicked Sima Tu's corpse back. He didn't even let off a newborn baby, he deserved to die. Mi-Er learned from Little Seven and kicked Miao Shihua's corpse back. When Jiang Shui saw that her precious son had been killed and his corpse had been humiliated, she lost control of her anger and attacked Sima Yue. Sima Zhiyuan was originally standing in front of Sima Yue, so he naturally went forward to welcome her. As soon as the two of them moved, it was as if the horn of war had been blown. The three sides quickly engaged in battle. Sima Yue retreated far away under the protection of her beasts and watched them fight. With so few people, they definitely won't be able to hold on for long. Ye Guang said. That might not be the case. For the Jiang clan to come all the way here, they definitely have something to rely on. Thousand Resonance said, sometimes it's not the number of soldiers but the quality. Is it the old ancestor of the Jiang clan? Thousand Resonance didn't say anything else, which meant that he agreed with Ye Guang's guess. The old ancestor of the Jiang clan was much stronger than the average person. For someone like him, he could fight against half of the Sima family. This was why even if there weren't many people, the more experts there were, the stronger they would be. The old ancestors of the two clans were on the verge of advancing, but the old ancestor of the Jiang clan was slightly stronger than the Sima family's old ancestor, so the Jiang clan had always been above the Sima family. Sima Yue looked at the Jiang clan who kept joining in. She guessed that Jiang Yinlong was at the front, and there were still many people rushing over. Little brat Sima, you dare to kill my Jiang clan's people. An angry roar was heard, shaking many people to the point that they spat out blood. Old ancestor. The Jiang clan members saw who it was and shouted excitedly. Sima Yue was also shaken to the point that her blood was boiling, but luckily Mi-Er helped her block a lot of it, so she wasn't injured like the others. This is the old ancestor of the Jiang clan? She clutched her chest and grimaced. He looks like a scoundrel, he really looks like the Jiang clan's people. Jiang Ping flew over from afar and landed beside Jiang Shui. Father, you're here. Jiang Shui looked at Jiang Ping excitedly. I came after receiving your news. Jiang Ping looked at his little daughter lovingly. Father, your disciple was killed by them. Jiang Shui held back her tears. At this moment, she was no longer the powerful old ancestor, but the little daughter in front of her father. Don't worry, as his grandfather, I will definitely avenge him. After Jiang Ping said that, he looked at Sima Zhiyuan and said, You killed my Jiang clan's first son before, and now you've killed my grandson. We won't be kind today. Puffed Sima Zhiyuan looked at Jiang Ping with disdain. Jiang Ping, isn't your Jiang clan just coveting my Sima family, and wanting to take our family's assets for yourself? Do you have to make it sound so dignified? You're really acting like a prostitute trying to build a monument to her chastity. Impudent. Jiang Ping shouted, and unreservedly suppressed Sima Jiyuan. Sima Jiyuan, Sima Hishun and the others resisted together, but they were all suppressed by the pressure. Jiangping, as the old ancestor of your clan, you came to my Sima family to kill my clansmen. Aren't you a little too arrogant? A gentle voice sounded. It clearly gave off a peaceful feeling, but it easily dispelled Jiangping's pressure. Asterisk 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 asterisk, you've advanced in rank? Jiangping could feel his strength just from the pressure. Sima Yue looked up and saw a figure appear from the Sima family in the blink of an eye. Asterisk 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 asterisk, the old ancestor of the Sima family. It was said that he had lived for a few thousand years. Other than the white hair near his ears, the rest of his hair was still black, and there weren't many wrinkles on his face. If it wasn't for the vicissitudes of life in his eyes, one wouldn't be able to tell that he was any different from an ordinary person. He was dressed in white, which made him look elegant and refined. You, this old ancestor of yours is a little showy. Little Seven said softly. I think so too. Sima Yue agreed. At least he's a narcissistic person. The two of them spoke very softly, but it didn't escape the old ancestor's ears. He turned his head and smiled at Sima Yue, and the word flirtatious immediately flashed past her mind. Damn, was this an adjective that an old ancestor of a clan should have? Let's not talk so much. Let's fight to determine the winner. After speaking, he flashed to Jiangping's side, grabbed him and flew into the sky. Chapter 1472. Book title. Chapter Let's Talk Quietly. Author Sima Qing pulled Jiangping into the void. The people on the ground could only hear the occasional rumbling above their heads. The situation of the battle above them was unclear, but the people on the ground were not idle either. They started fighting again. Jiang Yunlong brought a lot of people, but compared to the Sima family, there weren't many people. Including Jiang Shui, there weren't many people. At first, the people of the Jiang family believed that their ancestor would defeat the ancestor of the Sima family. However, the old ancestor of the Sima family actually advanced. This had far exceeded their expectations. Even their old ancestor had not advanced, so how had he advanced? No matter what the reason was, the result was the same. Despair gradually rose in the hearts of the Jiang family. Without the ability to fight, the battle quickly ended. The people of the Jiang family and Jiang Shui's branch were either killed or captured. Jiang Yunlong was seriously injured and was protected in the center by several guards. Although he was not caught and still tried to resist, he was surrounded by the Sima family and could not move. Sima Jiyuan, don't think that you've won just like this. As long as the old ancestor returns, all of you will be dead. You're still daydreaming at this time. Sima Jiyuan was also a little injured, but he was much better off than Jiang Yunlong's Sima Yue then walked out from the protection of the beasts. Sima Luxian, Mu Si and the others were still in the center of the beasts, so they were not afraid of the Jiang family's counterattack. Great-grandfather, eat some pills first. She walked over and took out some pills for Sima Jiyuan. Sima Jiyuan ate the pill, and the turbulent aura in his body calmed down quite a bit. Sima Yue turned to look at Jiang Shui and said, although it was Sima Tu and Miao Shihua who attacked us, I think you must have given them some hints, right? Jiang Shui turned her head to the side and did not look at her. How dare a junior hamster look at him with such a gaze? Sima Yue did not care about her attitude and said, it's a pity that you can touch some people but not others. After saying that, he turned around and left without waiting for her reaction. The process of waiting was long. Not much time had passed, but in Jiang Yunlong's eyes, it felt like centuries had passed. On the other hand, Sima Jiyuan and the others were very relaxed. What was there to worry about when the outcome was already set in stone? In less than half a day, Sima Qing came back alone. The final result was self-evident. Sima Qing glanced at Jiang Ping and the rest and said, deal with them properly. Then he grabbed Sima Yue's shoulder and disappeared in front of everyone. Master. Yeah. Mu Si and the beasties shouted when they saw Sima Yue disappear. Don't worry, old ancestor won't do anything to her. Sima Jiyuan comforted her. Once they're done talking, they'll naturally return. Really? Musi was still very worried. Of course, when have I ever lied? Sima Jiyuan slapped Musi's head. He was a little angry that Musi didn't believe him. Clean up the mess. He roared at his family, and then went in with his hands behind his back. There was no need for him to do these things. Sima Luxian also went in. After what happened today, no one dared to have any ideas about him. Anyone with a discerning eye could see that Sima Yue was the catalyst in today's matter. If she didn't bring the Miao family over, Jiang Shui and the others wouldn't have come out. If she didn't kill Sima too, Jiang Shui wouldn't be angry and the Jiang family wouldn't be drawn out. The Jiang family had been coveting the Sima family all these years. The Sima family also wanted to get rid of the hidden danger that was the Jiang family. However, no matter who made a move on who, they needed an excuse. And she created such an excuse for the Sima family. With such a powerful daughter, even if Sima Luxian didn't have any spirit power now, they wouldn't dare to provoke him. Sima Yue was brought to the back mountain of the Sima family by Sima Qing. Other than Qi Yan, she didn't have any other beasties by her side, but she wasn't worried about her own safety. Why did you bring me here? She asked. So rude, you didn't even call me old ancestor. Although Sima Qing said so, he didn't care very much. I'm not a member of the Sima family now. Sima Yue snorted. She wasn't a member of the Sima family, so he wasn't her old ancestor. Little guy, you care a lot about what happened back then. Sima Qing said. Of course I care. If it wasn't for those things, our family of 3 wouldn't have been separated for so many years, and I wouldn't have grown up alone. Sima Yue said. Although she was already 15 years old when she came into this body, the hardships along the way were not something that ordinary people could understand. There are some things that we can't go against reality, Sima Qing said. I told your father that back then, but he didn't listen to me. Sima Yue didn't want to talk about what happened back then with him. Those things had already happened, and it couldn't be changed. It was useless to talk about it. Why did you bring me here? Of course I brought you here to acknowledge your ancestors. Sima Qing said seriously. Sima Yue looked at him with narrowed eyes. Do you know my condition? Isn't your condition him? Sima Qing looked at the people walking down the mountain. Sima Yue looked down and saw Sima Jiyuan bringing Sima Luxian over. This meant that they wanted to add her and her father to the family tree. And my mother, she said. Okay. Sima Qing agreed without hesitation. Why didn't you bring my father along? She asked. Naturally, we have a little secret to talk about. Sima Qing looked at her mysteriously. She subconsciously took a step back and stared at him warily. What do you want to say? Actually, it's nothing. I just wanted to ask you, are you willing to take over the Sima family? I believe that as long as you are willing, the Sima family can flourish in your hands. Sima Qing looked at her expectantly. I'm not willing. Sima Yue rejected. Why? Although the Sima family is not very strong, they still have a place in the inner regions. I don't want that either. Sima Yue shook her head firmly. You old foxes, don't expect me to take over your mess. I don't like to care about those chores. Sima Qing pursed his lips. Mess. Chores. That was how she described her own family. But she was the only one among the younger generation that he liked. Sima Yue was afraid that he would really put the burden on her and said, I know that you all want the family to be stronger. If there is something that I can be of use to you, I will try my best. But don't expect me to take over. Otherwise, when the time comes and I leave, you won't be able to find me. You're not interested at all? I still have my own things to do. I can't spend my time on the family. Sima Yue said. After father's injury is healed, I will look for mother. This is something that has been planned for a long time. Think about it. Do you really think it's good to hand the Sima family over to me? Chapter 1473. Was it really good to hand over the Sima family to her? They had never thought about this question. When they knew about her talent and ability, they only thought that there was hope for the revival of the Sima family. But they never thought about it. Was it really good to hand over the Sima family to her? With her luck, she would definitely experience a lot of things in the future. She also had a lot of things to do. Handing over the Sima family to her would definitely restrict her footsteps. Actually, to help the Sima family revive, you don't have to take it over. Sima Yue continued. The current head of the family is great-grandfather, but isn't great-uncle Hishun the one who is really managing the family? Sima Qing looked at her, and was sure that she really didn't want to. He sighed and said, "Why is your personality the same as your father?" "I'm my father's child." Sima Yue knew that he was giving in by saying this, so she smiled. Don't laugh. This matter hasn't been decided yet," Sima Qing said. "They're here, let's go." Sima Luxian and Sima Zhiyuan came up and bowed solemnly to Sima Qing. "Old ancestor. How embarrassing, you've made yourself like this." Sima Qing looked at him with his hands behind his back. "Just stay in the family in the future, don't think about these things." Sima Luxian bowed slightly, neither saying nor denying. Sima Yue pursed her lips. This guy, he obviously wanted her father to be safer at home, but his words were so smelly. "Let's go." Sima Qing brought them into the spirit barrier. There was nothing at the top of the mountain, but there was a majestic ancestral hall. The door of the ancestral hall was the same as the door of the Sima residence, but this was a smaller version. Sima Qing came to the ancestral hall, and stood in front of the stone lion. He reached out and pressed on its left eye, and the door of the ancestral hall opened automatically. "Let's go in." Sima Qing and Sima Zhiyuan walked in first, Sima Yue and Sima Luxian followed behind. The moment they entered the door, Sima Yue felt a force stopping her, and then something seemed to be scanning her. "Only those who have the bloodline of the Sima family can enter here," Sima Luxian explained. "Then why haven't people like Mother come in before?" Sima Yue asked curiously. "They came in through another tunnel. In that passage, as long as you have the aura of a man from the Sima family, you can do it." Speaking of this, Sima Luxian's face turned slightly red. Alright, now she knew what that aura meant. They passed through the courtyard, and came to the center of the ancestral hall. Before they could push the door open, it opened from the inside. Patriarch Old Ancestor Young Master Luxian, Young Mississippi, a stooped old man came out from inside, bowed to them, then turned and left. This is the guardian of the ancestral hall. His strength is not lower than the patriarch's. Sima Luxian didn't introduce that person to Sima Yue, but she could hear his respect for that old man from his few sentences. Sima Yue guessed that this old man must have a high status in the family. Otherwise, he would not have left after giving a bow. They entered the ancestral hall. The huge ancestral hall was filled with memorial tablets. At a glance, there were probably a few thousand of them. These memorial tablets are the memorial tablets of the direct descendants. The collateral descendants are not qualified to enter here. Sima Luxian said. Then where are they? There are several auxiliary ancestral halls next to it. The important people in the family are in that ancestral hall. While Sima Yue was explaining, Sima Qing lit a few incense sticks and distributed them to everyone. Then he led them to offer incense to the ancestors of the past. Sima Yue was the youngest in the family, so naturally, she was the last to offer incense. When she placed the incense on the incense table, she suddenly felt like a lifetime had passed. The moment she placed the incense on the incense table, countless scenes flashed in front of her eyes. It was as if she saw the prosperity and decline of a family. At this moment, she felt like she was a member of this family. The blood in her body seemed to be surging. After a long time, Sima Qing brought them to the side of the anteroom. Although it was called an anteroom, it wasn't small. It was just much smaller than the ancestral hall. Sima Qing took down a brocade box from the wall and opened it. There were many rolls of brocade in it. He took out the largest brocade and injected spiritual energy into it and threw it into the air. The brocade flashed with golden light and slowly opened. It was about the size of a wall. It was densely filled with names. Sima Qing pointed at one of the places. The words in that area were enlarged. Sima Yue saw many familiar names. For example, Sima Zhiyuan, Sima Hishun, Sima Luxian, Sima Lufeng, Sima Luyun and Sima Yifei. There was a blank space beside Sima Lufeng. Sima Yue guessed that it was her father's position. As expected, Sima Qing got Sima Luxian to bleed. He took out a brush from the box and dipped it in his blood. He wrote his name in the blank space. Then he pulled out a line and wrote, "Wife Ukaluo." He pulled a line between him and Ukaluo and wrote daughter Sima Yue. After that, he even got Sima Yue to squeeze out a drop of blood and dripped it on her name. Sima Yue watched as her blood seeped into the brocade. She thought that she had really returned to her family. She too was someone with a family. This was different from the family that Sima Lai and the rest gave her. At that time, there were few people and simple relationships. Everyone only doted on her. But the family had a long history. There were many branches and they were more united. Sima Luxian watched as his name appeared on the genealogy again. His emotions were fluctuating. Things were the same, but people were different. Just when Sima Yue thought that it was over, a gentle force came from the genealogy and enveloped Sima Yue. The three of them were shocked. Family inheritance, Sima Qing murmured. How many years has it been? The genealogy has released the power of inheritance. Family inheritance? Sima Zhiyuan and Sima Luxian knew about the existence of inheritance, but it was their first time seeing it. Shock could be used to describe their feelings. Sima Qing sighed. If Sima Yue was added to the genealogy, this scene would have happened decades ago. If they knew about this earlier, they wouldn't have let her leave the family. Even if there was pressure, they would have kept her and nurtured her well. The gentle light spread out quickly, passing through the walls and spreading out from the ancestral hall. The people in the family were enveloped by that power. That gentle power made them feel comfortable all over. It was as if something was sprouting in their minds. Feel it. Sima, he exclaimed softly and said to the people around him, feel it on the spot. When those people heard it, they all sat down cross-legged and tried to grasp the sprouting in their minds. More and more people closed their eyes to feel it. At this moment, the entire Sima family seemed to have quietened down. Something was quietly changing. Chapter 1474. Not only the Sima family members, even the outsiders felt the change in the Sima family. The people on the street all stopped and stared. They felt a force that calmed their irritable hearts. In the ancestral hall, Sima Yue had her eyes closed the whole time. Her face was calm, and all the anger from the battle had dissipated. After an unknown amount of time, the power finally entered her body. The moment she opened her eyes, the power that enveloped the Sima family also entered their bodies. Everyone opened their eyes. Their gazes were even brighter, and they were even more spirited. Some of them had entered a state of enlightenment at that time, and had yet to awaken. Some were already strong enough, but because they didn't have enough comprehension, they couldn't advance. This time, with the power of the inheritance, they had gained insights and naturally advanced. All of a sudden, many courtyards of the Sima family emitted the light of advancement. In the ancestral hall, Sima Yue was also leveling up. This time, her strength did not increase by much. She had only leveled up from Monarch level 1 to Monarch level 2, which was still within the range of Gentleman level. When she advanced, the tribulation clouds in the sky began to condense. When she finished her advancement, she didn't have time to say anything to the three people in the room. She flew out and only stopped when she was far away from the ancestral hall. For some reason the cloud spirit did not go easy on Sima Yue this time. Fortunately, her body had been tempered to be very strong, so she could withstand this level of lightning tribulation. Everyone in the Sima family saw her transcending the tribulation here. Many of them were surprised when they sensed the familiar aura. Her aura was in the power that she made us feel earlier, right? Why would she let us comprehend it? No matter what, we have to thank her. Is she really the family's lucky star? As soon as he came back, he solved the Jiang family's problem and made us all realize something. Who knows, she might really be able to revive the family. Is there really hope? The people below were discussing animatedly, but Sima Yue couldn't hear them from the mountain. This time, the cloud spirit was exceptionally ruthless. She didn't have the energy to observe her surroundings. Moreover, she hadn't made any preparations this time. The lightning-proof items that she had taken out at the last minute were just a drop in the bucket. She had to completely rely on her own body to withstand it. When the last bolt of lightning struck, the cloud spirit did not leave. Sima Yue lay on the ground. She did not even have the strength to move her fingers. Her body was charred black, and she looked no different from being roasted. The beasts had rushed over a long time ago, but she made them wait outside. Now that the lightning tribulation was over, they all ran over. Are you okay? Little Seven ran over and saw that Sima Yue was seriously injured. She screamed, Yu, how did you become barbecued meat? Did you put salt in yourself? There is indeed the smell of barbecued meat. Even Thousand Resonance and the others couldn't help but tease. Sima Yue rolled her eyes. The moment these guys realized that their lives were no longer in danger, their naughty nature was revealed. That's strange. Cloud Spirit, why did you strike so hard this time? Little Dream was puzzled. She looked at the Cloud Spirit that had not left and asked curiously. The Cloud Spirit snorted. These guys finally noticed it. It's not that I struck too hard. It's because her advancement this time involved many things. It's related to some things in the future. I can't cover this up. However, I still went easy on her. Otherwise, with her body, she might not be able to withstand it. The Cloud Spirit explained proudly. Sima Yue was shocked. She had just advanced a level. And it was a very small one. How was it related to the future? Could it be because of it? Thinking about the thing that she had just obtained, she was speechless. This lightning strike was really an unexpected disaster. After the Cloud Spirit explained, it patted its butt and left. If it wasn't for their good relationship, it wouldn't have especially stayed to explain this. Sima Zhiyuan and Sima Qing ran over. Seeing her charred black, their expressions were a little strange. Why was she always struck by lightning? Could it be that she had done too many bad things? Let's bring her back first. Sima Qing said. Zhiyuan, you do it. Sima Yue didn't understand why he stepped aside and let Sima Zhiyuan carry her when he was clearly beside her. Little Seven and the others wouldn't let anyone carry her, so they volunteered to carry her. The moment she turned around, she heard Sima Qing's muttering behind her. She really turned into a little charcoal. If I carry her, she'll turn into charcoal too, right? TSK, she'll dirty my clothes. If Sima Yue had the energy, she would definitely jump up and scold him. You're an old guy who's thousands of years old. Do you have to be like this? Little Seven carried Sima Yue, and under Sima Zhiyuan's guidance, they arrived at the courtyard that had been prepared for them. The Sima family saw Little Seven carrying a piece of charcoal, and guessed that it was her. She was struck so hard. Someone said, such a good girl turned into charcoal. How pitiful. Exactly. I don't know if she can recover. I heard that she would be struck by lightning every time she advances in rank. Would she turn into charcoal every time? So pitiful. Sima Yue was speechless again. Why were the Sima family members the same as Sima Qing? Couldn't they just have fun? Huang Yingying and the others felt their hearts ache when they saw Sima Yue like this. They heard that she was struck very badly the last time in Fair Eastern City, but they didn't see it with their own eyes. So although their hearts ached, it wasn't as intense as this time. Yue, are you okay? Huang Yingying asked. Sima Yue blinked at her, indicating that she was fine, but it made Huang Yingying's heart ache for a while. If she was really fine, why couldn't she even speak? Yinlang, who had been following her today, rubbed his chin when he saw her like this. He said thoughtfully, you're so ugly now. Should I continue to follow you? Sima Yue rolled her eyes at him. Her meaning was clear. I never wanted you to follow me. If you don't like it, then get lost. Yinlang smiled when he saw her gaze. This was the first time he felt that a girl could be so cute when she rolled her eyes. Sima Yue was unhappy because she was surrounded by people the entire way. She threw a tantrum when she was unhappy. Other than Huang Yingying, Sima Luxian and the others, no one else was allowed to enter her place. However, the Sima clan had indeed been rather busy recently. Although Jiang Yunlong and Jiang Ping had been killed, there were still many things that needed to be done in the Jiang clan. Furthermore, Sima Tu's branch still needed to be dealt with. So after 10 days, everyone thought that she was still recuperating, but she had already recovered for a long time. Chapter 1475. When the Sima family was preparing for the final battle with the Jiang family, Sima Yue was soaking in the huge library alone. Pin Book Network. Just as Huang Yingying and the others had said before, this library was very big, and there were a lot of books inside. There were even a lot of unique books. It could be seen that a long time ago, the Sima family was indeed a very powerful family. Unfortunately, it was gone now. The door to the library opened. The person scanned the place and knew where she was. Sima Yue looked at the person who came, put down the book in her hand and asked, "Ian, why are you here?" "I went to your courtyard. Uncle Lu Xian said that you knew you were here, so I came over." Sima Ian said, "Why did you come to the library the moment you returned to the clan?" "I'm here to see if there's any way to restore father's powers." Sima Yue said, "The longer this drags on, the more disappointed father will be." "That's true." Sima Ian came to her side and sat down. She picked up the thick book beside her and said, "I'll go with you. How do we find them?" "All right." Sima Yue thought that one more person meant one more helping hand, so she told her the key words. She might not be able to understand those medical books, but if she could read, she would be able to see the key words. Sima Yue stayed in the book collection pavilion for a few months. Sima Yun and Sima Chi worked together to flip through all the books in the book collection pavilion. Sima Yue finished reading the last medical book and slammed it shut. As expected, there isn't. She sighed. It seemed that Wu Lingyu's suggestion was the only way now. "You don't be discouraged. There will definitely be a way." Sima Yun comforted her when she saw how dejected she was. "That's right. Yue, if there aren't any books here, there must be some elsewhere. As long as we persevere, we can definitely do it." Sima Chi also agreed. "Yes." Sima Yue smiled at them and said, "You two have been staying here with me all day. How is the situation outside?" "It's nothing much. It's just that our family has completely settled the matter with the Jiang family. In the future, the Jiang family won't appear in front of us anymore." Sima Chi was in a good mood when she said this. It is indeed good news. However, without the Jiang family, there will be other families like the Li family and the Wang family. Sima Yue said, "If you want the clan to be safe, you still need to be strong." Sima Yun said, "Speaking of this, everyone is saying that you are our clan's lucky star." "I'm not a lucky charm. How did I become the family's lucky star?" "You're the family's lucky star." Sima Chi said, "The moment you came, you cured us of the 100 days of sleep poison. The Jiang family's matter has been a headache for the family for a long time. In the end, you just came back and gave us an opportunity. Then, you found the profound moon fruit and let the old ancestor advance, allowing us to survive the Jiang family's matter. And as soon as you entered the genealogy, you received the family's inheritance. You also helped many people in the family who were trapped in the bottle to advance successfully. Tell me, if you're not our lucky star, then what are you?" Sima Yue looked at her worshipful face and smiled. "Things are not as mysterious as you say. It's just a coincidence. No matter what, you did bring a lot of benefits to the family when you came back." Sima Yun said. "By the way, Yue, what is the family's inheritance you received? Can you tell us?" Sima Chi asked curiously. "Chi, don't mess around." Sima Yun scolded softly. "What's wrong with that? If I can't say, Yue won't tell us. She won't be angry. Right, Yue?" Sima Chi said with a grin. "But, Yun, aren't you curious?" Sima Chi interrupted her. Sima Yun pursed her lips. She was curious too. But Patriarch and the others had never asked Yue about this. How could they ask her? "Actually, there's nothing that can't be said," Sima Yue said. "At that time, I received a power and a set of spirit skills." Speaking of that power, Sima Yun and the others were more touched, because both of them had comprehended a lot of things from that incident. "Our inheritance is actually a set of spirit skills?" Sima Chi was surprised. "Our ancestors did use a set of spirit skills to conquer the world. But later on, it slowly became what it is now." Sima Yun sighed. What is that set of spirit skills? Actually, that spirit skill is fusion. Sima Yue said. It's just that our family used to have many beast tamers, so there were many spirit beasts. Relying on spirit beasts and fusion, our battle power was much higher than others. Because of that, we used to be all-powerful. Could it be that our decline is due to the lack of beast tamers? Sima Qiqi guessed. Not only that, Sima Yue said, the fusion at that time is different from now. What's different? The fusion at that time not only allowed the person and the contracted beast to become one, but the effect was better. It was not as simple as 1 + 1 = 2, but the fusion now is missing the essence of the past. Sima Yue explained. Before I came here, I had already made a copy of the spirit skills and passed it to my great-grandfather. If you haven't heard, they should still be researching it. I think that if the family wants to rise again, we need to find more beast tamers. Sima Qiqi placed both hands on the table. Otherwise, even if we have this spirit skill, we won't have so many spirit beasts. We don't need to worry about this. Patriarch and the others will naturally think of this. Sima Yin said. Sima Yue lowered her head and didn't say anything. She gave the spirit skill to Sima Zhiyuan, but didn't tell them about the imperial beast art. She believed that as long as they had these two things, the Sima family would rise again. But the imperial beast art was given to her by Mo Sha. Without his permission, she couldn't tell anyone about it. Thinking of Mo Sha, she remembered that Wu Lingyu had been gone for a long time. According to the past, he should have contacted her long ago. Why hadn't he contacted her after so long? Could it be that he had fallen into a coma again? That couldn't be right. He had just woken up not long ago. He wouldn't have fallen into a coma now. If it wasn't because of him, then there should be something holding him back. Could it be that the Sage Pavilion found out that he was going for the Phoenix Nirvana Divine Medicine and captured him? But she immediately denied her own thoughts. He wasn't just Wu Lingyu, he was also Mo Sha, the king of the Devil Realm. With such a powerful person by his side, how could an ordinary person be able to trap him? And there wasn't any news from the continent. Thinking of this, she suddenly laughed. She must have been too concerned. He hadn't looked for her for a few months, and she was already overthinking things. This book came from a book. Chapter 1476. Since there was no cure for her father in the library, Sima Yue did not waste any more time. Instead, she went to look for a few books about her family's history. Please search product #bookyennet to see the most complete. Update the fastest. When Sima Qiqi and Sima Yin helped her find it, they were a little puzzled as to why she would be interested in the family history. She smiled and said, "Didn't I just return to the clan? I need to understand the history of the clan well." This reason made sense. The two of them found several thick books for her. They couldn't help her with this. She could only look at it herself, so they left. Sima Yue stayed in the library alone, and spent a few days reading the history books. There's actually no description of this. She finished reading the last book inside. She opened her hand, and a milky white bubble-like thing appeared in her palm. This was something that had been formed in her body by that power during the inheritance. It didn't seem to have any offensive power, and she didn't feel anything in her body. However, she could vaguely feel that the reason why she was struck so badly when she was promoted was because of it. However, this thing didn't seem to have any intelligence or power, so he didn't know what it was. The cloud spirit said that her strength this time would have a great impact in the future, which was why she was struck so badly. After thinking about it, this was the only possibility. She thought that since it was something that had been passed down in her family, it might be mentioned in her family's history. That was why he had read all the family history books. In the end, there was no mention of such a thing in those books. So this was not something from the Sima family at all? Or was it that there was such a thing but it wasn't recorded? She thought about it, put the book back, and went to look for Sima Qing. What powerful things did the ancestors have? Sima Qing looked at her, and thought for a while. It doesn't seem like there's anything powerful. If one were to talk about something powerful, it would be that set of spiritual techniques. Is there a problem? Nothing much. I'm just curious as to why our ancestors are so powerful. Sima Yue said. Sima Qing should be the oldest person in the Sima family. If even he didn't know, then there was probably no one else who knew what it was. What exactly was this little bubble? If she couldn't figure it out, then she wouldn't think about it. Anyway, she wasn't the kind of person who liked to go down a dead end. If you have the time, go and comprehend some spiritual techniques. Sima Qing said. This set of spirit techniques is indeed much more profound than what we have now, and there are many parts that are not easy to understand. I think that since you were able to obtain this inheritance, you must be fated with it. Perhaps it will be easier for you to comprehend it. In the past few months, other than dealing with the Jiang family's affairs, most of the family's energy had been spent on comprehending spiritual techniques, but the results were minimal. I've also seen that spiritual technique. There are indeed many aspects that are different from what we're learning now. Some of them are even contradictory. If you want to learn this, you'll probably have to change everyone's views first. Sima Yu continued. I don't know if I'll be able to comprehend it. However, let's try our best. I believe you. Sima Qing's smile made her feel as if she had been checkmated by an old fox. The whole family is a sly old fox. She muttered in her heart and returned to her courtyard. When she reached the entrance of the courtyard, she saw Wuxia and a man walking out. The two of them were talking and laughing, and seemed to be quite familiar with each other. At first, she thought that it was someone from the Sima family, but when she took a look, the material of the other party's clothes was different from the Sima family's. When Wuxia saw her, his eyes flashed and he bowed, saying, Master, you're back. Are you out of seclusion? I'm out. I didn't find anything useful over there. Sima Yue nodded slightly. This is? Inshang greets Miss Yue. That man didn't wait for Wuxia to introduce him, and bowed to Sima Yue. In family? Sima Yue raised her eyebrows. How was the Yin family so familiar with Wuxia? I'm the butler of Tangerine City's city lord's residence. Inshang said. Sima Yue understood. As expected, he was here to find Yin Lang. Yin Lang is still here? She guessed with certainty. Yes. He said that he wanted to wait for Master to come out of seclusion, and didn't leave. Brother Shang would come to report to him sometimes. Wuxia explained. Is he treating the Sima family as his city lord's residence? Sima Yue said faintly. Are you guys going out? I won't hold you guys up. Inshang will take his leave. Inshang cupped his hands and left. Master, I'll send him out. When Wuxia saw Sima Yue coming out of seclusion, his face was full of smiles. Go ahead. I'll check on your homework later. Sima Yue said. This homework was naturally referring to the situation of his cultivation in the past few months. Alright, I'll be back soon. Wuxia left with light steps. Sima Yue looked at his back view and smiled. She turned and went into the courtyard to find someone to settle the score. Yin Lang was currently in his room, slumped on the couch and eating spirit fruits in satisfaction. The door was open, so he saw Sima Yue the moment she entered the courtyard. You're so comfortable here. Sima Yue pursed her lips. Are you planning to move your city lord's residence to my Sima family? How long have you been back, and it's already become your Sima family? Yin Lang spat out 2 small cores and accurately threw them into the trash basket at the side. Don't say this to me. Sima Yue found a stool and sat down. Is it because great-grandfather and the rest think that you're my friend, so they can't bring themselves to chase you away? Don't say it's so estranged. Yin Lang said. I said that I want to follow you, so I naturally have to keep my word. Until you make me understand what true love is. Aren't you bored? Sima Yue rolled her eyes at him. Don't tell me there's nothing for you to settle in Tangerine City? Yin family doesn't have anything for you to do? There's something for me to do. But I plan to bring you along, so I've been waiting for you to come out of seclusion. What is it? You're a seeker spirit master, right? Then are you interested in mineral veins? Yin Lang asked. Of course. Why, you found a mineral vein and you're going to give it to me? Sima Yue asked. Sure. Yin Lang answered straightforwardly. It was just a mineral vein. If it could make her smile, it would be good. Forget it. Sima Yue rejected first. What's wrong with a mineral vein? It's not a mineral vein. It's a mining area this time. It's an ancient mining area. How about it? Are you interested? Ancient mining area? Sima Yue was stunned and her breathing became rapid. Are you serious? Of course. How about it? Are you interested in taking a look? If it's really an ancient mining area, it's not bad to take a look. Then it's settled. I'll bring you there. If she wants to go, she'll go with me. You don't have to worry. Wu Lingyu's voice suddenly sounded. Sima Yue's eyes lit up and the corners of her mouth curved up unconsciously. This book came from the collection. Chapter 1477. It was Yin Lang's first time seeing her smile so sweetly. The blissful look on her face was something he had never seen before. Was this what she meant when she said that she liked someone? Wu Lingyu walked in from outside and Sima Yue welcomed him with a smile. Why are you here? Wu Lingyu hugged her shoulder and brushed her hair behind her back. He smiled and said, I missed you, so I came. Sima Yue smiled even more brightly. She used her hand to hit his shoulder lightly and said, You didn't send me any news after so long. I thought something happened to you. Something happened. I'll tell you later. Wu Lingyu grabbed her hand. All right. Yin Lang felt a little stuffy in his chest, and it was difficult for him to breathe. He reached out and touched his chest. It was a little uncomfortable. Wu Lingyu noticed his condition and held Sima Yue's shoulder, saying, Didn't I say that you're not allowed to be with other men when I'm not around? This is... Cough cough. This is the City Lord of Tangerine City. Sima Yue introduced. So it's City Lord Lang. I'm sorry for not recognizing you. Wu Lingyu nodded at him. He did not treat him differently because of his identity. Yue, he's the man you like? Yin Lang didn't bother with Wu Lingyu. Looking at his hand on her shoulder, he had the urge to go up and push it away. Yes. Sima Yue admitted openly. He's the holy son of the Sage Pavilion. He's the holy son of the inner regions now. Wu Lingyu said. You're in the inner regions? Yes. They wanted to transfer me here in the past, but I didn't like it. So it was left unsettled. Now that you're in the inner regions, I naturally have to follow. Wu Lingyu said. So it's the holy son of the Sage Pavilion. Yin Lang felt that he could not breathe anymore. He stood up and said, I have something to do. I'll go settle it first. After he finished speaking, he did not wait for their reaction, and left the room as if he was fleeing. After he left, Wu Lingyu leaned over and planted a heavy kiss on her lips. This is your punishment. I told you not to hook up with other men, but you let them live in our house. Sima Yue poked his chest. I didn't. Don't think I don't know. He's been following you for a long time. Wu Lingyu said. If you already knew, then why did you come so late? Sima Yue teased him. Why didn't you send me the news? You made me so worried. Don't change the topic. I only know that there's a man by your side, but I don't know how he's following you. I'll be lenient if you confess. I'll be strict if you resist. Wu Lingyu grabbed her hand and bit it lightly. He wanted to follow me. I didn't ask him to, Sima Yue said. Then why is he following you? Sima Yue leaned into his embrace and told him about how Yin Lang wanted her to be his woman, and how he wanted to follow her. She raised her head and saw a certain someone gritting his teeth. He dares to make you his woman. He's really tired of living. All right, it's just a joke. Sima Yue said. Let's not talk about him. Why didn't you send me any news after so long? Did the Sage Pavilion punish you? No. Wu Lingyu saw that she was really worried and said, They only said a few words about what I did and didn't punish me. It's just that I was sent to do some things and was delayed for a while. Oh. Sima Yue did not ask him what he was doing. She just wanted him to be safe. I've seen the Phoenix Nirvana. The fruit hasn't ripened yet. I think we still have to wait for a while. Wu Lingyu said. Where is it in the Sage Pavilion? Is it easy to enter? Is there anything? Leave this to me. Wu Lingyu said. Don't worry, I'll definitely hand it over to you. Sima Yue looked at him and hooked her arms around his neck. She nodded and said, All right, I'll let you do your best. Is there a reward? Wu Lingyu's lips curled into a seductive arc, looking as if he was tempting her to commit a crime. Sima Yue tiptoed and planted a kiss on his lips. A reward. That's not enough. Wu Lingyu waved his hand and the room door closed automatically. After a long while, their lips parted. The two of them were breathing heavily. I really want to marry you quickly. Wu Lingyu pressed his head against hers, not daring to go any deeper. Sima Yue felt the thing pressing against her body and her face turned red. Oh right, do you have news about rising from the ashes? She changed the topic, not wanting the atmosphere in the room to be too ambiguous. When she mentioned this, the person above her head was silent. Sima Yue left his embrace and looked at him. What's wrong? Is there no news? No. Wu Lingyu was silent for a while. Actually, there is some news. Where is it? Wu Lingyu saw that her gaze was too urgent and kept his thoughts. The last news I got was that rising from the ashes is related to the hidden Xianqiu clan. However, whether it's in the Xianqiu clan or not, I can't be sure. What I can be sure of is that the Xianqiu clan at least knows where it is. Sima Yue was startled and laughed. If she knew that rising from the ashes was related to the Xianqiu clan, she would definitely go to the Xianqiu clan and contact Xianqiu He. So the reason why he didn't want to say it was because he didn't want her to look for Xianqiu He. Silly. She laughed and poked him. I just don't want you to look for him. Wu Lingyu hugged her. No matter how outstanding those people are, they can't be compared to you. This is what I mean by beauty is in the eye of the beholder. She laughed. Wu Lingyu saw the smile in her eyes. She actually dared to laugh at him. He captured her lips again and gave her a long and fierce kiss. Yin Lang actually didn't leave. He was outside. Although there was a barrier and he couldn't sense the situation inside, he still felt terrible. He wanted to pull her away from another man's embrace. It wasn't because she was pretty, but because he felt that there was an empty space in his heart that only she could fill. After a long while, the door opened. She and Wu Lingyu walked out. Her slightly swollen red lips were telling of their intimate moment. He watched them walk out of the courtyard. He watched her smile sweetly at him. For the first time, he felt that he really liked her. Was this the feeling of liking someone? Although he still wanted her to be his woman, his state of mind was different. If this is the feeling of liking someone, then this feeling is really terrible. He muttered and turned to leave. Sima Yue brought Wu Lingyu to see her family. She also told them that she would be leaving for a period of time. Chapter 1478. Perhaps they had already known that he was coming, but the entire living room had become similar to the tri-court trial. Sima Qing and Sima Zhiyuan sat in the main seats while Sima Hishun, Sima Xiuqi and Huang Yingying sat in the lower seats while Sima Lu Xian sat in the lower seats. Sima Qing frowned as he looked at Wu Lingyu. This is the guy who wants to kidnap our daughter? His tone was very unkind. As if he was unhappy that his cabbage was being eaten by a pig. Why do you have a partner at such a young age? Sima Hishun was unhappy as well. The holy son of the Sage Pavilion? Our relationship with the Sage Pavilion has never been good. How can we marry our daughter to them? Indeed you can't. Sima Yue could not help but feel speechless when she saw them singing the same tune. If Yu is willing, I can marry into your family. Wu Lingyu said. Poof. Sima Yue almost choked on her own saliva. She turned around and looked at him in shock. Was there something wrong with this fellow? If that's the case, I can consider it. Sima Qing stroked his chin and looked like he was deep in thought. Sima Yue guessed that he was calculating the pros and cons of marrying into the family. Although I'm still a little unhappy, I feel better than before. Sima Hishun said. I say, what do you guys think? Sima Zhiyuan had long accepted Wu Lingyu, while Sima Xiuqi and the others were filial family members. As long as Yue liked it, they would do anything. Grandpa, we have something to tell you this time. Sima Yue interrupted them. If he allowed them to continue, who knew what else they would say? What is it? Sima Lu Xian asked. I need to leave with Lingyu for a while. Sima Yue said. Are you guys going to elope? Sima Qing suddenly asked. Sima Yue rolled her eyes at him. If I really wanted to elope, Why would I report it to you? Where are you going? How long will he be gone? Is there any danger? Huang Yingying asked. Sima Yue glanced at Wu Lingyu. Seeing that he did not object, she said, Lingyu said that he found an ancient mine in the 32 continents. Ancient mining area? Everyone's breathing quickened. Is this true? What Lingyu said must be true. Sima Yue trusted him completely. The ancient mines have always been unknown to people. The places where they are located are all very dangerous. The 32 continents have always been the strangest place in the inner regions. It is indeed possible to find an ancient mine there, Sima Hishun said. Many powers already know about this news. I think there should be a lot of people heading towards the 32 continents, Sima Yue said. Then we'll send someone over as well. Great-grandfather, patriarch, I think it's better for the family not to get involved in this mess. Sima Yue said. Why? Lingyu said that the ancient mine is too strange. Sima Yue said. The place where it was found is strange. The place where it appeared is strange. Even that place is filled with evil. Evil? Yes. Those who went and have not come out yet. Wu Lingyu said. Actually, that place was discovered more than 10 years ago, but those who went and never came out. However, every few years, those people's things would be found outside the mine. Without exception. It's that dangerous. Although it's dangerous, it's still very attractive. Sima Hishun said. That's right. Wu Lingyu nodded. At first, this news did not spread because the powers who discovered it had been suppressing the news, trying to take the mine for themselves. However, later on they found out that it was a hard bone to chew, so the news slowly spread. When the news spreads, there will definitely be a lot of powers going. The family has just experienced the Jiang family's incident, and has not fully recovered yet. In addition, it's too dangerous there. Even if the family goes, they may not be able to gain anything. Sima Yue said. There are some opportunities that we have to participate in, but some opportunities may not be suitable for us. We still have to consider this matter from the perspective of actual strength. Everyone was silent. She was right. The Sima family's current strength was indeed not enough to participate in this matter, but that was the ancient mine. Even if they obtained a little bit, it might help the family revitalize. Yue is right, although the temptation is great, we still need to have enough strength, Sima Hishun said. For this matter, we'll just watch. Yue, won't it be too dangerous for you to go? Huang Yingying was worried. Why don't we bring some people with you? Grandma Lingyu is here. Sima Yue said with a smile. I'll go alone, so I can adapt to the situation. Don't worry. Huang Yingying looked at Wu Lingyu and knew that he was very powerful. With him around, Yue should be fine. When are you leaving? Sima Luxian asked. It's best if you can leave immediately. The news spreads quickly. I don't know how many people have already rushed over. Sima Yue said. If you go earlier, you might be able to obtain something and bring it back for the family. Alright then. If there's anything, you must contact the family. Sima Zhiyuan said worriedly. The family will prepare more things for you later. You can leave tomorrow. Okay. Sima Yue replied. Anyway, it was just a day or two away. Then you can go back first. When the things are prepared, I'll get someone to send it to you. Sima Zhiyuan said. Sima Yue hesitated for a moment, then took out a box and said, Old ancestor, this thing belongs to Lingyu. I made a copy of it. I think it will be more effective when used together with the family's cultivation methods and spirit techniques. What is this? Sima Qing took the box and opened it, seeing a handwritten copy. This is the Imperial Beast Art. Sima Yue said, for hundreds of thousands of years, this is the best Imperial Beast Art. The box in Sima Qing's hand almost fell to the ground. The hand that was holding the copy trembled. What did you say this is? He couldn't believe his ears. This is the Imperial Beast Art. Lingyu got it by accident and taught it to me later. I think the family's main spirit technique is fusion, so there's a high demand for spirit beasts. If there are good spirit beasts, our family's strength will definitely increase by a few times. This way, the family's strength will naturally increase as well. Sima Yue said. It's actually the Imperial Beast Art. I didn't expect that we would be able to see the Imperial Beast art with our own eyes. Sima Qing was so excited that he was almost speechless, looking at the copy in his hand. He still felt that it was an illusion. Oh right, when using this Imperial Beast art to tame spirit beasts, both the contractor and the spirit beast will increase their strength during the contract. Usually it can help the person advance. Sima Yue said. This Imperial Beast art has been lost, so it's best not to let others know about this. Otherwise, it won't be something that can revive the family, but a talisman that will hasten the family's demise. Chapter 1479. Of course we know that. Sima Qing said seriously. When the time comes, we'll get the people who are learning it to keep it a secret. They wanted to rise, not perish. This Imperial Beast art was enough to make everyone in the mainland go crazy. Its influence would not be lower than Sky Splitter. He looked at Sima Yue, his heart filled with emotions. Just like the rumors in the family, she was the family's lucky star. Once she came back, she brought a lot of changes to the family. Sometimes, a spirit technique could make a power rise quickly. Fusion was a very powerful spirit technique, or else the Sima family would not be in the limelight for a period of time. Now, with the Imperial Beast art, as long as these two were mastered, the rise of the Sima family was only a matter of time. However, just like what she said, this could not be known by others, or else it would bring endless trouble. These people were all smart, she did not need to say anything else. Then we'll go back first. Sima Yue bowed to them and brought Wu Lingyu back. On the way back, the Sima family saw her and ran over to greet her. Wu Lingyu did not say anything at first, but later on, he found that most of the people who came up to greet her were men, and all of them looked at Sima Yue with sparkling eyes, and his heart started to feel uncomfortable. Therefore, when he saw someone coming up just now, he grabbed her hand and silently declared his ownership. The Sima family was curious about his identity at first, but in a blink of an eye, they saw him holding their goddess hand, and for a moment, everyone did not react. What does he mean by this? What else could it mean? He's unhappy with you guys. Sima Chi laughed. Yue's taken. Damn. Are you telling the truth? Of course. Didn't you see that Yue did not struggle free? Sima Chi looked at their disappointed faces, taking pleasure in their misfortune. Who asked you to hang around outside Yue's courtyard all day? Sima Yue looked up at Wu Lingyu's expressionless face, and laughed secretly in her heart. However, she allowed him to hold her hand and walk around the Sima residence. Thank you. For what? Thank you for agreeing to let me take out the taming beast art. Sima Yue said with a smile. Before I went to meet them, I already said that since I've already given it to you, you can do whatever you want with it. This is your family. If they can become stronger, it will be good for you. We'll talk about it later. What? Since I'm going to marry into your family, these things will also belong to the Sima family in the future. Ahem ahem. Sima Yue stared at her in shock. Are you serious? Are you kidding? Who said I was joking? Wu Lingyu glanced at her indifferently. If they don't agree to you marrying me, then I'll have to marry into their family. Are you willing to elope with me? Sima Yue's lips twitched. Was this guy serious? Wu Lingyu's face suddenly enlarged in front of her eyes. The two of them were about to be together again. Don't you think so? Wu Lingyu took the opportunity to steal a kiss on her lips. Do whatever you want. Sima Yue held his face with both hands and pushed him away. She even pinched him while she was at it. As for eloping, that was definitely impossible. Whether she would marry into his family or marry into his family, they would discuss this later. The people who were following them saw that they actually kissed and their hearts broke. Many of them beat their chests and stomped their feet. Their goddess had really gotten together with him. Why did their goddess already belong to someone else when they only had one? What are you afraid of? They're not even married. How can we admit defeat? There's no wall that can't be dug, only a shovel that isn't hard enough. Someone shouted. That's right. It's not like we don't have a chance. From tomorrow onwards, I'll go and make my presence known. When she remembers me, there might be hope. I'll do that too. However, the next day, When they went for a stroll outside the courtyard, they received news that she had already left with Wu Lingyu. Everyone was stunned. Then, they were like eggplants that had been beaten by frost and could not lift their spirits. Why did she leave just like that? At this moment, Sima Yue was standing outside the Spiritualist Guild, looking at Wu Lingyu and Yin Lang staring at each other. She and Wu Lingyu had arrived at the Spiritualist Guild early in the morning, preparing to use the teleportation array to go to Cord City. There was a spatial ship that went to the 32 continents there. Unexpectedly, they saw Yin Lang the moment they arrived. After this guy ran away yesterday, she did not see him for the whole day. She did not expect him to be waiting for her here. Since we're both going there, let's go together. No need. Wu Lingyu rejected directly. It's not on the way. It's not up to you whether it's on the way or not. Then the two of them stared at each other. The two of them stared at each other for more than 10 minutes. Just as Sima Yue was about to speak, they spoke again. You're not confident, Yin Lang said. You're afraid that if I go with you she'll like me. Do you think such a childish method of provocation will work on me? Wu Lingyu's eyes were filled with self-confidence and contempt for other men. However, I won't interfere with her freedom to make friends. If you want to follow, then follow. That's what you said. Of course. It's getting late, let's go. After Wu Lingyu finished speaking, he pulled Sima Yue's hand and entered the Spiritualist Guild. Sima Yue rolled her eyes in her heart. Yin Lang might not know, but she knew what he was thinking when she saw his eyes. He let Yin Lang follow, not because he did not want to interfere with her freedom to make friends, but because he wanted to show off their affection in front of Yin Lang, provoke him, and make him give up on her. How childish. However, she did not say anything. If he wanted to do it, then do it. As long as he did not go overboard, she was still willing to accommodate him. The three of them went to Cord City. As the spatial ship would arrive in a few days, they went to the He family. He Zhenjiang and Su Lunyan were very happy to see Sima Yue. This child, you didn't even tell us you were coming. Although Su Lunyan was complaining, the smile on her face was very warm. We came to take the spatial ship. There are still a few days left, so we came to see you and check on you. Sima Yue said. My body is very good. The discomfort of my soul being trapped for so many years has completely recovered. Su Lunyan said. Still, we have to check on you. Sima Yue checked on her and confirmed that her body was fine before completing her treatment. He Zhenjiang and the rest were at the side. When they heard that they were going to take the spatial ship a few days later, he said, You're going to the 32nd continent? Yes. Are you sure you want to participate? I heard that it's very strange inside. He Zhenjiang asked. Uncle He, you don't plan to go? Sima Yue asked. He must have heard the news, but hearing this, he did not plan to participate. Chapter 1480. This ancient mine is too strange. Although it's a great opportunity, you have to be alive to get it. He Zhenjiang didn't let this get to his head. Besides, I have more important things to deal with. Are we going to investigate the corpses? Sima Yue asked. That's right. He Zhenjiang replied. How dare you lay your hands on fleeting time? Moreover, I feel that this matter may not be limited to just us. Uncle He, what have you found? There are indeed some things that don't make sense. He Zhenjiang hesitated for a moment and decided to tell her the information he had found. When you go out this time, you must be on guard against people wearing black cloaks. Black cloak? There should be a lot of people dressed like this. Right now, we only know that those are black cloaks. We haven't found any other insignia. He Zhenjiang said. According to the information we've gathered in the past few months, there have been many strange deaths on the continent. However, the Yang family has nothing to do with this. How so? I can't say for sure, but when I saw the corpse, it didn't feel like a normal death. He Zhenjiang said. I also saw a corpse last month. I found it really strange. If those people were killed by the undead, then they would naturally carry the aura of death. You're all light attribute soul masters, so it's natural for you to feel uncomfortable. Sima Yue explained. It should be. He Zhenjiang said. Also over the years many dead bodies have disappeared. Gone. They must have been taken back and turned into corpses. Sima Yue said confidently. Kill the people they want to kill and turn those people into their strength. This way, they will become more and more powerful. Yue, don't corpses rot and emit a stench? How can those people last for so long? Su Lunyan asked curiously. They must have used some secret method to deal with the corpses, Sima Yue guessed. However, we can only know the details when we see the corpses. No matter what, be careful, Su Lunyan reminded. We will, Sima Yue replied. Let's go, I'll take you to your accommodation. If it wasn't for the fact that it's inconvenient for me to appear in front of others, I'd like to take a look at this matter too. Su Lunyan held Sima Yue's hand and chatted as they walked. When she found out that Wu Lingyu was Sima Yue's sweetheart, she looked at him in surprise and then shook her head regretfully. I even said that I would introduce my nephew to you. Now that you mention it, it's not good. Su Lunyan said regretfully. Sima Yue pursed her lips. Introduce a nephew to her? Was he trying to matchmake her? Su Lunyan did not wait for her to continue and continued. Speaking of which, my nephew is considered to be one of the best in this generation. If I'm compatible with you, I should be able to barely match you. Alas, it's a pity that it's too late. Sima Yue did not know what to say and could only smile awkwardly. All right, don't be embarrassed. I'm just saying. Su Lunyan looked at her and smiled, but she was still as gentle as before. Oh right, he's going to the ancient mine too. When you meet him, take care of him. I wonder who Aunt He's nephew is. He's called Suyu. Suyu? The genius from the Su family in the 19th region? Yin Lang said in surprise. You're from the Su family? Yes. Su Lunyan smiled. You know him? Sima Yue asked. The Su family is a big family in the 19th region. Suyu is a genius whose reputation is similar to your father's. Yin Lang said. Of course, compared to me, he's still a little lacking. Sima Yue knew that her father and master were very famous in the inner region. To be as famous as her father, this person's reputation was not small either. She wondered if master would go too. She had not seen him for a long time. If he saw that she had grown to this stage, would he be proud? Aunt He, is there a Feng family in Yi region? She asked. No, why? Su Lunyan was curious. My master and my father are good friends. I think he should be from Yi region, Sima Yue said. Oh, since he's your father's friend, you didn't ask your father? Later on, because of my mother, their relationship was a little awkward. I didn't know if my father would want to mention him, so I didn't ask. Sima Yue said. His name is Feng Zhixing, from the Feng family in the inner region. You're talking about Feng Zhixing. I knew when you mentioned his name. Su Lunyan said. There's no Feng family here, but there's a force attached to the Feng family. Which force is that? Integral Moon Palace. Integral Moon Palace? Is it that Integral Moon Palace? Sima Yue looked at Yin Lang. Why was this guy's expression so strange? What's wrong? Integral Moon Palace is a very mysterious force. They will travel in the inner region, but very few people know where they are. Yin Lang said. It's not just the Feng family. They have many other forces attached to them in the mainland. Those forces will send their disciples or clansmen in. Once they enter, they will have a very high status in Integral Moon Palace. Your master is one of them. Doesn't that mean we can't find him? Sima Yue was a little disappointed. The matter at the ancient mining area was so big. Maybe they will go too. Su Lunyan comforted. When your master knows that you're in the inner region, he will definitely come to find you. I'm not in a hurry, Sima Yue replied. Sima Yue and the other two stayed in the He family for a few days. When the spatial ship arrived, they left. What surprised her was that she actually saw Yangshi and the other two on the ship. They haven't left after so long? Sima Yue pursed her lips. She really didn't want to see them. However, Yangshi obviously didn't think so. When she saw Sima Yue, or more accurately, when she saw Yin Lang beside Sima Yue, she walked towards her with a fervent gaze. Miss Yue, what a coincidence. We meet again. Yang Shi smiled and greeted her. Hee hee, what a coincidence. Sima Yue pursed her lips. The meeting has been over for so long. Why are you still here? We were delayed for a while because of Madame He's illness. Later on we felt that this place was not bad, so we stayed until now. Although Yang Shi was answering her, her gaze kept drifting towards Yin Lang. As for Li Yao and Feng Qi, ever since they saw Wu Lingyu, their eyes had never moved away. When Sima Yue saw those two pairs of naked eyes, she felt that they were an eyesore. She held Wu Lingyu's arm and smiled at them. It's a little late. We'll go back and rest first. Lingyu, let's go back. Chapter 1481. Wu Lingyu's heart melted when he saw her pouting. Since you're tired, go in and rest. There's nothing much to see outside anyway. With that, he led her into the room, not giving them a single glance. Li Yao and Feng Qi retracted their gazes in disappointment. They turned to see Yin Lang still looking over there, his eyes dark. City Lord Lang, who is that person? Feng Qi was the worst at reading people's expressions, and directly asked what she wanted to know. The Holy Son of the Sage Pavilion. Yin Lang answered and walked around them to return to his room. Yang Shi clenched her fists so tightly that her nails were about to pierce into her flesh. She was a living person standing there, but Yin Lang didn't even look at her. All his attention was on that woman. She already had a partner. Was he still unwilling to give up? I didn't expect that person to be the Holy Son of the Sage Pavilion. Feng Qi hugged her chest, so excited that she was about to faint. Why are you so excited? Didn't you see that woman's declaration? Yang Shi sneered. That man dotes on that bitch Sima Yue a lot. That woman is really despicable. No matter where she goes, there's no lack of men around her. Now she's even occupying City Lord Lang and the Holy Sun. Feng Qi said hatefully. That's right. That's why she deserves to die now. Li Yao said faintly. If they wanted to kill her before to please Yang Shi, then they had a reason to kill her now. They were on the boat now, so they couldn't do anything. After they got off the boat, since they were all going to the 32 continents, they were definitely going for the ancient mine. They heard that it was very evil there. When the time came, they would have plenty of opportunities to make a move on her. In the room, Wu Lingyu leaned on the bed while Sima Yue laid down with her head on his lap and her hands playing with his hair. You know those people just now? His magnetic voice had a hint of ridicule. Forget it. They wanted to kill me, Sima Yue said. She felt the pressure around her become lower. She patted his body and said, I haven't done anything yet. I'm just thinking about it. Even if you want to, you deserve to die. Wu Lingyu's voice was very soft, but it was filled with endless killing intent. I say, are you still the Holy Son of the Sage Pavilion? Do you think you can kill as you please? Sima Yue glared at him. I'm the Devil King of the Devil World. Of course, I can kill whenever I want to. Wu Lingyu didn't think much of it. Wasn't it just killing a person? He had killed countless people in the past. This is not the demon realm, Sima Yue said. They haven't done anything yet. If they really want to do something, I won't be an obedient lamb. However, I think this possibility is very high. Sima Yue tugged at his hair. Didn't you see how Feng Qi and Li Yao were staring at you? If Yang Shi was the only one who really wanted to kill me in the past, it was also because I didn't have any feelings for Yin Lang and hadn't taken any action yet. Now that they have you and you're my boyfriend, I think they won't be able to hold back anymore. I'll go and settle them. Just as he finished speaking, Sima Yue tugged at his hair again. Only the weak and incompetent would rely on men to settle the war between women. She snorted. If you go and kill them, won't you say that I'm weak and incompetent and can't even protect my own man? All right then, I'll let you protect me. Wu Lingyu moved his legs and scooped her up with his long arms. He hugged her in his arms and bent down to kiss her lips. On the way to the 32nd continent, Sima Yue and Wu Lingyu stayed in the house and didn't go out. Sima Yue took out the armament refining manual to read, and asked Wu Lingyu to give her some pointers. She told him about the process of refining the materials, and he immediately pointed out where she was lacking. Sima Yue heard what he said and was instantly enlightened, as if there was a qualitative improvement. She tried according to what he said and indeed, the purity increased by a lot. How do you know everything? What was in your head in the past? She held his face with both hands and looked left and right, as if she wanted to pry open his head to take a look. Wu Lingyu grabbed her hand. I was born with it, you can't be envious. Two faint red marks were printed on her fair face. She calmly retracted her hand. Sorry, my hand slipped. Wu Lingyu grabbed her hand that she wanted to retract and smiled. Did your hand slip? He rubbed it on his face and said. And it's indeed very slippery. Sima Yue blushed. This guy was really a hooligan when he wasn't serious. Outside the room, Yin Lang stood in the corridor with a lonely expression. It had been so long and they hadn't come out since they went in. He thought he knew what would happen between the two of them. In the distance, Yangshi and the other two's gazes were filled with viciousness. However, one was because of Yin Lang and the other two were because of Wu Lingyu. Looks like we really have to get rid of her quickly, Fang Qi said hatefully. I think so too. We don't have to wait until the ancient mining area. For the first time, Li Yao felt that her existence was too much of an eyesore. If we don't go to the ancient mining area, do you have the confidence to kill her without them knowing? Yangshi sneered. Since you like that man, don't leave a bad impression in his heart. The ancient mining area can easily take someone's life. If anything happens to her, it won't be pushed to us. All right then, we'll let her live for 2 more days. The 32nd state and the 64th state were a little far away. They stayed on the spatial ship for a month before arriving. When the ship was about to stop, Sima Yue and Wu Lingyu came out of the room. Yin Lang immediately noticed that she had changed her clothes. Because spirit masters usually avoided dust, their clothes wouldn't get dirty even if they wore them for a long time. Usually they might change more frequently, but when they were outside and inconvenient, they wouldn't change. She actually changed her clothes in the room with the man. Li Yao also noticed it, so her gaze became even deeper, and the hatred in her eyes became even more profound. Wu Lingyu had a very comfortable feeling. Seeing him, her heart finally felt like it had found a home. She knew that this could be due to the Sage Pavilion's techniques, but she couldn't help but fall in love with him after seeing him once. Sima Yue and the other two handed the room number to the beautiful crew members on the deck and walked down the spatial ship. Yangshi and the others immediately chased after them. We don't like outsiders, Wu Lingyu said lightly, then pulled Sima Yue and left without looking back. Yangshi and the others were stunned. They hadn't even said anything and they were rejected? It must have been instigated by this little slut. This time, they definitely wouldn't let her off. The three of them had this thought at the same time. It had to be said that only birds of a feather could walk together. Chapter 1482. Sima Yue and the others left the spatial ship and rushed towards the ancient mining area. Sima Yue sat on a flying beast that was rented from the Soul Master Guild. It looked similar to the primordial bird. This matter was handled by Yin Lang's people. Not long after they got off the spaceship, Yin Lang brought them to the side of the flying beast. Speaking of which, why don't we use a teleportation array instead of a flying beast? The 32 prefectures have the fewest teleportation formations among all the prefectures. Because the space here is unstable, it's not suitable to build a teleportation array, Yin Lang explained. Besides, the teleportation array can't reach where we want to go. How long will it take? About half a month. I'm not sure. It depends. Sima Yue was curious. What did he mean by depending on the situation? After encountering a few tornadoes, she finally understood that it was impossible to travel in that kind of weather. The weather here is really strange. There's actually a tornado storm. They hid in the cave and listened to the howling of the wind outside. The 32 states have always been rather strange, so there are many wastelands. It is also because of this that the ancient mine has never been discovered, Yin Lang said. Perhaps someone has discovered it before, but no one has been able to come out, Sima Yue guessed. I wonder if this extreme weather has anything to do with the ancient mine. There's no way to prove it. The possibility of one mine affecting the climate of an entire province is too small, Wu Lingyu said. Butterfly effect, Sima Yue said. Butterfly effect? This was the first time Yin Lang had heard of this, so he was a little curious. Sima Yue explained to him what the butterfly effect was, and Yin Lang was speechless. According to this theory, it might really be possible. Whether or not it's possible, it doesn't affect us, because we can't change anything. After saying that, Sima Yue looked at the sand and stones that had been blown up by the strong wind. How long will this weather last? At most half a month, at least 3 to 5 days. Then we'll have to wait. She looked around. It was a very spacious cave. There was nothing special about it. Since we have to wait, let's do something here. What are you trying to do now? Of course it's to reward us and our flying beasts. Yin Lang watched as Sima Yue took out a bunch of pots and pans, as well as vegetables and meat on the table. Are you going to cook? He looked at her in surprise as she skillfully organized those things. That's right. Sima Yue smiled at him. Don't you have nothing to do? Spirit masters can even cook. Spirit masters didn't like to eat, much less cook. Yin Lang had reservations about her approach. Well, perhaps, even if it wasn't delicious, he would still eat it. Sima Yue knew what he was thinking. She smiled and did not say anything. Wu Lingyu came to her side and skillfully handed her the ingredients and condiments. Yin Lang looked at the two of them. They had such chemistry between them. Every time Sima Yue wanted something, the item would be placed in front of her when she looked up. She, on the other hand, smiled at him and then lowered her head to continue cooking. He lowered his head. The tacit understanding between the two of them was definitely not something that could be formed overnight. Every time she looked at his smile, it was so sweet. It was a kind of happiness that came from the bottom of her heart. This was a feeling she did not have when she smiled at others. After some time, there was a fragrant smell in the cave. Even the flying beast changed its form and ran over. Squeak squeak. Flying beasts like them were all domesticated by humans. They could not speak, and all their strength was transferred to speed. The little guy kept running around in circles, very excited. Sima Yue looked at it, and threw a piece of roasted meat that was already roasted to it. The little fellow held the meat in its mouth and ate it in one bite. Then it stared at her with wide eyes. You little fellow, you eat so fast. Although Sima Yue was scolding it, her hands did not stop moving. She took another plate of roasted meat for it. It smells so good. Yin Lang came over at some point and took a plate of barbecued meat to eat. Go with this. Sima Yue took out a jar of wine and threw it over. Yin Lang caught it and opened the seal. The fragrance of the wine wafted out. It tastes really good. Oh right, I heard that you open many restaurants outside. They sell many kinds of fruit wine. Yin Lang took a sip. The taste was really good. I didn't expect you to make such delicious food. Of course. Sima Yue said. But there are not many people who can eat the food I make. Then I'm really lucky. Yin Lang's mouth was full of bitterness. He did not know how to describe this luck. Wu Lingyu saw that he was a little down and smiled. The food in his mouth tasted even better. Who told you to follow me? Looking for a beating, humph. Sima Yue prepared a big table of food. Because the little fellow was here, she prepared a lot of roasted meat and some stir-fried vegetables. When she sat down, the little fellow was already full, and went to the side to rest. Everyone go in quickly. Hurried voices and messy footsteps came from outside. Then a group of people ran in from outside. As they ran, they cursed their bad luck for encountering such terrible weather. It smells so good. A voice full of surprise came from the entrance of the cave. Then a figure rushed in quickly. Bang! That figure crashed into a blue barrier and was bounced back, falling heavily on the ground. It hurts. That person held his butt and said in pain. Sima Yue felt that this scene was a little familiar. In the blink of an eye, she heard a familiar voice and saw a familiar person. It's you. Why are you here? She and the person shouted at the same time. Siyu jumped up from the ground and came in front of Sima Yue. She was afraid that she would crash into the blue barrier again. Lingyu. Sima Yue looked at Wu Lingyu. Wu Lingyu waved her hand, and the barrier disappeared. I knew it. Only you can make something so fragrant. Siyu sat on the table and stuffed a piece of roasted meat into her mouth. Then she happily chatted with her. Siyu, why are you here? Sima Yue took out Siyu's favorite wine and placed it in front of her. You guys find a place to rest. Siyu waved to the people behind her and answered Sima Yue's question. After you left, I felt that Ghost City was too boring, so I wanted to come out and walk around. Father and the rest couldn't persuade me, so they sent a group of people to accompany me. I didn't want to at first, but this was the only way I could come out and play. So I agreed. Hee, I didn't expect to meet you so soon. We are really fated. Chapter 1483. Your father really trusts you. Sima Yue sighed. Of course. Siyu giggled and said, Father said we haven't been out for a long time, so it's okay to come out and see the outside world. What if you're in danger? Sima Yue glanced at the people she brought along. Although they were strong, there were not many of them. We have a special way to get out. If there's anything I need, I can contact them. They'll be here soon. I don't need to go through so much trouble like you guys. Siyu didn't say much, but seeing how confident she was, she probably really had a way. Sima Yue thought about it and agreed. They had lived in Ghost City for generations, and there would be people who would come out. After so many years, it was reasonable for them to think of ways that others did not know of. By the way, how was the city after we left? It's pretty much the same as before, just that the southern part of the city has been divided up. In the past, there was one city lord and 4 stewards, but now it's a tripartite balance of power. Siyu said. The Zhang family is also willing? How could I not be willing? Their boss has been killed by you, so there's no one left who's powerful. What else can they do under such circumstances? That's true. Wu Lingyu remained silent at the side. Yin Lang was very shocked when he heard their conversation. Ghost City? Could it be the legendary place? She was so familiar with the people in Ghost City, and even talked about things there. Could it be that she had been there before? Although he was shocked, he didn't show it on his face and continued to eat. Yue, are you going to the ancient mining area as well? We can keep each other company. You're going there too? That's right. Father said that since we're already out, let's go take a look and broaden my horizons. Who knows, we might even encounter a dark elemental ancient spiritual beast. How cool would it be to snatch one back? Sima Yue's mouth twitched. Snatch an ancient spiritual beast? If there really was a living spirit beast, wouldn't that be a terrifying thing? Like Little Gold, it was still in the growth stage, but its combat strength didn't lose to Little 7. If it evolved to the mature stage, its combat power would increase exponentially. This place can't be compared to your place. If you want to follow me, you have to listen to me. She first laid down 3 rules. Otherwise, if this guy made a scene, she might not be able to stop him. Sure. No problem. Who asked you to be the little sister? Siyu hooked her arms around Sima Yue's neck and said, I've always listened to you, haven't I? When the time comes, you have to listen to me. Otherwise, I won't bring you along anymore. I know. Yue, you've become so long-winded since you came back. Sima Yue glared at Siyu. When did she become naggy? It was clearly because the environment was different. In Ghost City, she was the young mistress of the Sea family, the princess of the northern part of the city. Anyone who saw her had to give in to her. However, this was not the Ghost City. This was the inner region, a place where there were many experts. They didn't care whether she was the princess of Ghost City or not. As long as she was provoked, they would kill her without hesitation. She analyzed the current situation to Siyu. She didn't want Siyu's personality to cause her to lose her life. Siyu nodded seriously and said with a serious face, I'm just here for fun. I'll listen to everything you say. Don't worry. Sima Yue saw her promise and thought of her playful personality in Ghost City. She really didn't feel at ease. After eating and drinking their fill, Sima Yue and Siyu sat at the entrance of the cave and chatted. The others were meditating and resting in the cave. Sima Yue told Siyu many things about the mainland. This was Siyu's first time outside, and everything was new to her. She was excited to hear everything and was so tired that Sima Yue talked until the wind stopped. Sima Yue had to say that she was lucky. This time, the wind didn't last for long. Once the sky cleared up, they continued on their journey. During the flight, there were many places below that had been ravaged by the wind. Although there were no landslides, there were large rocks everywhere. Tall trees were uprooted and scattered on the ground. It should have been blown over from other places. Looking at the mess below, Sima Yue sighed. No wonder no one lived here. It really wasn't a good place to live. The space here is a little unstable. It's best if you follow our flying beasts. Yinlang said. Is your flying beast very powerful? Siyu was a little confused. That little bird looked ordinary and didn't even know how to speak. They aren't strong, but they've been living here for a long time. They know what to pay attention to. All right then. Siyu instructed their flying beasts and followed Yinlang and the rest. After a few days, they were about to reach the ancient mining area when they encountered a similar weather. They had no choice but to find a place to rest. With a foodie like Siyu around, Sima Yue had no choice but to become a chef again and cook a meal for everyone. The sky cleared up and they continued on their journey. Not long after, they met again. They waited and continued on their journey. It was supposed to only take half a month, but they walked for almost a month before arriving. No wonder Yinlang said that the time was uncertain. Sima Yue and the rest came to a desert. The desert was surrounded by people and many tents were set up. Is this the ancient mining area? The scorching temperature made Siyu a little uncomfortable. Not really. Wu Lingyu rarely spoke. This is the Takagon Desert. The mining area is in the center. It's still a long way from here. Then why is everyone guarding here and not going in? Once you enter this desert, you won't be able to come out. It can be said that the evil of the ancient mining area started here. Yinlang said, so everyone chose to set up camp here to observe the situation. So many powers don't dare to enter. How evil is this desert? Siyu's eyes lit up again. She would be like this every time she encountered something fun. Let's find a place to set up camp first. Then, we'll see if we can find out more information. Sima Yue said. Okay. They left these people and chose a place with fewer people to set up camp. After setting up the camp, she released some of the stronger scarlet bees to try to find out more information. Very soon the latest news came. It was even faster than Yinlang's men. How is it? Is there any news? Siyu came over and asked. They said that many people have gone in recently, but no one has come out yet. Sima Yue said. Some of them have been in for almost a year. People have gone in so early? Siyu was shocked. A year is not considered long in there. Wu Lingyu said. This should be left behind by someone. There are more people who have all gone in. We can't calculate the time. Chapter 1484. Then when are we going in? Siyu was concerned about this. There's no rush. Let's wait and see what happens. Sima Yue said. This mine must be very attractive to you, right? Aren't you guys anxious? Siyu asked. What's the hurry? No matter how good the item is, you have to be alive to take it. Sima Yue said. Nothing is as valuable as a life. We've just arrived here, and we don't know anything about the situation inside. If we go in rashly, we might be left behind as well. That's true. Siyu was no longer anxious. Sima Yue released a lot of scarlet bees into the desert when no one was paying attention. If they could send back information, they would have an advantage over the others. Then you guys go ahead, I'll go take a look around. Siyu went for a stroll after speaking. Sima Yue watched as Siyu left alone. She waved to the people following her and instructed. Follow your young miss and inform us if anything happens. Stop her and don't do anything too dangerous. Yes, Miss Yue. Those people had seen Sima Yue before and knew that she had some status in the C family, so they had no objections to what she said. Hearing her order, a few people followed her. Yinlang didn't set up camp. After Siyu left, he walked over. Yue, I'm going back. Sima Yue was stunned for a moment before she nodded. At this point, Yinlang was going to return to his family, Or go to Tangerine City? All right. Let us know if you need anything. Yin Lang was also stunned. Seeing her clean and straightforward gaze, he smiled and said, Okay. If there's anything, I'll let you know. With his status, very few people would speak to him like this. The concern in her eyes was not fake. She was really worried that something would happen to him. She clearly wasn't very strong, and she clearly knew that he would definitely have experts protecting him, but she still took care of him. This was what she meant by concern between friends. He turned around and left with a bitter smile on his face. Friends after he left, Sima Yue and Wu Lingyu walked around to check out their surroundings. Suddenly, the sound of spiritual energy clashing could be heard from afar. Sima Yue turned her head and saw a dark spiritual technique. She rubbed her brows helplessly. How long had this girl been out? How did she get into a fight with someone? Let's go take a look. She and Wu Lingyu flew towards the battlefield. Sima Yue's mouth twitched when she saw the person fighting Siyu. Why was she fighting with Li Yao? Looking at Feng Qi, who was lying on the ground, she guessed that she had injured her first before fighting with Li Yao. Stop. Sima Yue flew over and pulled Siyu, who was about to use her spiritual technique, back to avoid Li Yao's attack. The guards behind Siyu heaved a sigh of relief when they saw Sima Yue. Young Miss did not listen to them, but she would listen to Yue's words. Li Yao saw Sima Yue and Wu Lingyu behind her and suppressed the spiritual technique behind them. You guys know each other? She asked solemnly. She's my friend. Sima Yue admitted and did not deny that Siyu was a dark spiritual master. Yue, do you know them? Siyu asked. I do. Why are you guys fighting? Sima Yue nodded. You just left the camp and you're already fighting with others. Are you ignoring my words? Siyu stuck out her tongue. They were the ones who provoked me. What's going on? I was passing by and they saw that I was prettier than them, so they were jealous of me and chased me away. They even spoke rudely to me. I've never been treated like this before, so I naturally argued with them. Then we started fighting. In the end, this person couldn't win, so he found a helper. Siyu pointed at Feng Qi with a smug look. This is all a misunderstanding. Yang Shi came out of the tent. Li Yao and the others didn't know that she was your friend. Since we all know each other, why don't we each take a step back? These three women were really like ghosts that wouldn't leave. Sima Yue cursed in her heart and turned to Siyu. Since that's the case, let's forget about this matter. Luckily, we met young Miss Yang this time, so we can talk nicely. If you cause trouble for me again, I won't care about you anymore. Siyu pursed her lips and said, all right, I won't argue with them. Li Yao returned to the ground and came in front of Sima Yue and the others. She bowed slightly. Your Highness, Holy Sun Yu, since there's nothing else, let's go back. Wu Lingyu said to Sima Yue. He obviously ignored the person in front of him. All right. Young Miss Yang, young Miss Li, young Miss Feng, we'll go back first. Sima Yue greeted the three of them and pulled Siyu to leave. Young Miss Yue, wait a moment. Yang Shi called out to Sima Yue. Seeing her turn around, she revealed a smile that she thought was sincere. We'll be going to the desert in a few days to take a look. Do you want to come with us? Go into the desert? We don't even know the situation inside. And we're going in rashly. Isn't that too dangerous? Sima Yue said. We're not going in deep. Yang Shi explained. We're just going to walk around the periphery to understand the desert. We've already asked around, and there's no danger at the periphery. How will walking around the periphery help us understand the mining area? Sima Yue asked. Would it help? Of course not. But she couldn't say that. Understand the desert's environment. When we enter the mining area, we'll be more familiar with it. She thought of a more far-fetched reason. She thought that Sima Yue would reject her, but she didn't expect her to agree so readily. All right. When are we going? Tomorrow. All right, I'll come here to look for you tomorrow. Sima Yue turned and left after saying that. She didn't say anything more to them. Are we taking action tomorrow? Li Yao asked. Yes, I saw City Lord Lang when I went out just now. He came out of her camp with a disappointed look on his face. Seeing him feel bad because of another woman, I actually feel bad too. What a joke. Yangshi smiled bitterly and turned back to her tent. Since you made him sad, then you don't have to live anymore. Sima Yue pulled Siyu back. Siyu pulled her hand and said, Are those people your friends? Why do I feel that it's weird for them to invite you? When did I say that they were my friends? Sima Yue asked back. Yeah. Then why did you agree to go with them? Those people don't look like they have good intentions. Siyu said worriedly. They want to use this opportunity to kill me. Of course, they don't have good intentions. Chapter 1485. Book title. Chapter surrounded by spirit beasts. Author Siyu's eyes widened. You knew she wanted to kill you and you still agreed? We don't know who will die then. Sima Yue shrugged nonchalantly and continued to walk forward. Siyu chased after him and came to a realization. So you want to as well? It's not me, it's them. Sima Yue smirked. If they don't move, I won't move. Even if they do, I'm not meat on the chopping block. TSK, I think you just want to deal with them. Siyu said confidently. Look at your eyes. Sima Yue smiled and said nothing. Actually, they didn't have any deep hatred before, but those people always looked at her with killing intent. As long as one had a temper, they wouldn't like it when others wanted to kill them. Moreover, those people dared to covet her man. They must be tired of living. Then take me with you. I'll go protect you, Siyu said. Are you sure you're not here to cause trouble for me? How could that be? Do I look like a troublemaker to you? Yes. On the second day, Siyu still came along, but Wu Lingyu left at the last minute because the people from the Sage Pavilion came looking for him. Before he left, he said to her, Do whatever you want. Nothing will happen. What did you do? It's nothing. I just wanted to go in with you. Sima Yue was stunned for a moment before she realized what he was talking about. Can I? Why not? It likes you a lot too. Wu Lingyu said. I don't know what it's like inside. I can only be at ease with it around. Okay. Sima Yue did not refuse. It would be safer with Sima Yue around since it was her first time going in. After Wu Lingyu left, she went to look for Yangshi and the others with Siyu who stuck to her. Unexpectedly, she saw them on the way. You're finally here. We've been waiting for you for a while, Li Yao said with a smile. I woke up a little late. How long have you been waiting? Sima Yue casually found an excuse. Woke up late? The three of them pursed their lips. Can't you at least find a better excuse? Would a spirit master be unable to get up? They suppressed the anger in their hearts and said with a smile, Not too long. Just the two of you? Isn't His Highness the Holy Sun with you? He had some matters to attend to, so he went back to the Sage Pavilion. Sima Yue said. Li Yao couldn't tell if she was disappointed or secretly delighted. She had thought that she would be able to see him today, but he had left. She was secretly glad that if he wasn't around, there wouldn't be any risk of him finding out. Since we're all here, let's go, Yangshi said. Don't you have any guards? Sima Yue looked at the three of them and asked. No need. We're just going to the edge. Nothing will happen. Naturally, we don't need to bring guards. Yangshi glanced at her. What she meant was, Look, I already said that it's dangerous. I didn't lie to you. Then do they know that we're in the desert? Siyu asked. No. How could they let many people know that they were going to kill someone? Especially not to let Yin Lang know. Siyu's eyes turned and asked, If we're in any danger, won't no one come to save us? Yes. Yangshi nodded. But if we go, what danger will there be? Naturally, we won't joke around with our lives. I believe in that. Siyu nodded. They were all stronger than Yue. If they really met with anything, they would definitely run faster. Then let's go. Sima Yue urged. She really didn't want to be with these fake ladies. Yes, if we don't go now, it'll be late. When we enter the desert, we won't even be able to tell the direction. Siyu urged. We asked some questions before, so we have some understanding of this place. Come with us. After Yangshi finished speaking, she didn't use her flying beast and directly flew towards the desert. Sima Yue's lips curled into a cold smile. If the distance was short, it wouldn't be a problem to use spiritual power. But if the distance was long, the consumption of spiritual power couldn't be ignored. If they really met with danger, their spiritual power would be almost depleted. They probably thought that she was the weakest and had the least amount of spiritual power. It was a pity that her pool of spiritual power was much bigger than other people's. She didn't care about this bit of consumption. They said that they were at the edge of the desert, but they used their spiritual power to fly for close to a day. They only found an oasis late at night to rest. While setting up the tent, Siyu whispered into Sima Yue's ear, "Yue, did you notice that we've been flying along the edge of the desert and haven't entered the desert at all? The situation in the desert is uncertain. They don't dare to," Sima Yue said. "Then when do they plan to make a move? They don't have much patience. I think it'll be tonight," Sima Yue said. "Then let's be more alert." "Okay." After setting up the tent, Yang Shi and the others came over and told them about how they felt today. Then, they let them rest early and said that they still had to hurry on with their journey tomorrow morning. In the middle of the night, Siyu suddenly ran in from outside and said, "Yue, those 3 girls are gone. Also, we've been surrounded by spirit beasts." Sima Yue sat up on the bed and said, "There's no rush." "No rush," Siyu shouted. "Do you know how many spirit beasts there are outside? Isn't it just 1,000 or so? It's fine." Siyu saw that Sima Yue was so calm and the corners of her mouth twitched. Was 1,000 or so too little? "Don't worry, those spirit beasts won't be able to enter," Sima Yue said calmly. "You're so sure? You don't believe me? Come with me." Sima Yue put on her shoes and brought her out of the tent. Siyu went out and saw those spirit beasts rushing towards them. Just as they were about to step onto the oasis, blue ripples appeared on the oasis. "This is a barrier?" "That's right. Can this barrier block the attacks of so many spirit beasts?" Siyu was not confident. "They won't attack," Sima Yue said. "Really? You just have to watch." Siyu looked at those spirit beasts suspiciously, thinking about what to do if they attacked. But she didn't expect that those spirit beasts would really be like what she said. They just walked around outside the barrier and left. She didn't find it strange if 1 or 2 of them were like that. But for almost 1,000 of them to be like that, she was so shocked that she couldn't close her mouth. What's going on?" She grabbed onto Sima Yue excitedly. "These spirit beasts came because those people scattered things on their oasis to attract spirit beasts. They don't dare to come in because there's an aura that they're more afraid of," Sima Yue said. "An aura that they're more afraid of? Is it on the barrier? I remember that your senior brother's barrier is blue, right? Could it be that he's here too?" Chapter 1486. Didn't Wu Lingyu leave? Could it be that he had secretly followed them? Siyu looked left and right, but she couldn't find any traces of Wu Lingyu. "Lingyu didn't come," Sima Yue said. "But he gave this to me." "He knew that we would encounter this situation?" "Yes. He said that this was the kind of situation one would encounter in the desert. With the intelligence of those people, they couldn't think of any good ideas. That's why he gave me this," Sima Yu explained. "Then how did he get those spirit beasts to return on their own? That's his problem. I just want this thing to work." Sima Yue did not intend to tell her that the magical beast's aura had been added to the barrier. How could an ordinary spirit beast withstand that ancient aura? Oh right. Those 3 people are gone. Only then did Siyu remember Yang Shi and the others. "Seriously, I was clearly guarding against them. How did they run away so quietly? I don't know where he is now." "Don't worry, they won't go far," Sima Yue said. "Did you do something to them?" Siyu looked at her expectantly. "Of course it's good stuff. Let's go. There will be many spirit beasts coming and going tonight. We don't have to worry about them." Sima Yue turned and entered the tent. "Hey Yue, tell me, what did you do to them?" Siyu chased after her into the tent. Sima Yue lay back on the bed and said, "Actually, it's nothing. Didn't they come looking for us before?" "Yeah, but I didn't see you do anything to them." Siyu tried her best to recall what happened, but she couldn't figure out what was wrong with her. Ever since they came in, she hadn't done anything. She hadn't even moved her hand. What could she do to them? There is a smell that we can't smell at the time, but after a few hours, when it starts to take effect, there will be a faint plum blossom fragrance. Smell it now. Siyu sniffed hard and said, there really is a smell of plum blossoms. So you've already poisoned the room? It's not really a poison. It will only attract some spirit beasts to go into heat. It will disappear after a day or two, Sima Yue said. Siyu pursed her lips. Who didn't know that animals in heat were the most irrational? As long as they didn't cooperate with them, they would definitely go crazy and attack people. But how could they possibly cooperate? So this guy had dug a hole for them to jump into. That thing of yours, is it strong? If the spirit beast that comes isn't powerful, then wouldn't it be useless? You don't have to worry about this when I'm handling things. Sima Yue closed her eyes. Go to sleep. We'll see the results tomorrow. Siyu knew that she wouldn't be able to get anything out of him. So she returned to her tent and waited for the next day to check on the results. Sima Yue slept well that night. When she opened her eyes again, the sky was already bright. After she was done washing up, she kept her things and went out to see Siyu standing at the edge of the oasis, looking at the messy footprints outside. She had already packed her things. When she heard the commotion behind her, she turned around and smiled. Morning. How's the situation? Sima Yue kept her tent and walked over to ask. I don't know how many came, but there were fewer in the latter half of the night. Siyu said. There aren't any more spirit beasts coming now. The smell in the oasis has mostly dissipated. Take the antidote, and we can go and see the results. Sima Yue handed her a pill. Siyu took the pill. Sima Yue called out Xiaohei, and let him lead the way in the direction that Yangshi and the rest left. The two of them chased for a few 100 kilometers before they saw the 3 corpses. Their clothes didn't even cover their bodies. It was a horrible sight. Were they defiled? Siyu pursed her lips. No. Sima Yue checked the corpses. They died in between. Spirit beasts aren't interested in dead people. But it's still tragic. When they escaped from the oasis, they definitely didn't expect to end up like this. Siyu sighed. They're probably overjoyed. I can only say that one shouldn't have the heart to harm others. Life is full of ups and downs. If you're not careful, it'll turn to you. That's true. Siyu agreed. In this world, although it was filled with killing, one couldn't always be on guard against the killing intent of others. But for himself, not provoking others was also a necessary condition to live a long life. Let's go. Leave their corpses here. Yes. Sima Yue didn't touch their corpses. Leave them here for a few days. I think someone will come to investigate. We just have to erase all traces of our existence. Okay. They erased all traces of their existence. In addition, they had already erased all traces before they left the oasis. Even if they saw Yangshi and the other two's corpses, they wouldn't be able to link them to them. Yangshi, Li Yao and Fang Qi were all talented juniors in the family. The moment their lives ended, everyone in the family knew. Who killed Qi? Yangshi's father, Yang Gaoming, almost broke down when he heard the news. Master, don't worry. Go and ask father. He left a soul imprint on Shier's body. Yangshi's mother reminded. Yes. Go and find father. Yang Gaoming hurriedly ran to his father's courtyard. Father, is it true that Xier has already? My soul imprint has disappeared. She is indeed dead. Yang Wei was also very angry. Father, didn't you leave a soul imprint on Xier's body? Even you can't protect her? I don't know why they entered the desert without permission. I only saw her and 2 other girls in the vast desert, surrounded by hundreds of spirit beasts. Takagon Desert? Since they went there, why didn't the family follow them? No, I have to go and take a look. Yangshi's mother said as she ran out. I'll go too. Let's go together. We can also go and see what the ancient mine looks like. At the same time, the Fang and Li family sent people to rush over. They swore to find out the truth behind their deaths. Sima Yue and the others didn't know about the shock that Yangshi and the others' deaths brought to the 3 families. After flying for a day and a night, the two of them and the dog were in the vast desert, looking around blankly. We're lost. Siyu looked at Sima Yue. She had previously joked that the two of them should just go in directly, but now she couldn't laugh. If they were really lost in this desert, it would definitely be a very dangerous thing. Sima Yue looked around and finally sighed, saying, "We clearly walked in the direction we came from, but obviously, we are really lost. Then we can't be close to the ancient mine, right?" Siyu cried out. Chapter 1487. Sima Yue could not give an answer to this question. How strange. We're clearly walking in the direction we came from, but why do I feel like we're walking deeper and deeper? Siyu said doubtfully. Sima Yue raised her head and looked at the direction of the sun. She thought for a while and said, "I think I know the reason." "What?" "The oasis where we set up camp quietly changed direction at night." Sima Yue said, "When we left, we went out the same way we came in. We thought that was the exit. We've been going straight, but it feels like we're going deeper and deeper. This is quite likely. Either that or the space here has a folding property." It was just like the folded space he had encountered in the immortal land. Other than these two reasons, she couldn't think of any other reason. "Then should we go back?" "Going back might not be the same way we came," Sima Yue said. "We've been walking for a day and a night, so we might be heading in the wrong direction. Don't worry, let me do an experiment first." "What experiment?" "You'll know when you see it. Let's find an oasis first." Half a day later, they found an oasis. Siyu set up a tent at the side, and Sima Yue took out something that looked like a dart. After injecting spiritual energy into it, it actually floated in the air. Then, she took out 3 small flags of different colors and stuck them into the ground. The one in the middle was facing the thing in the air. "We can use this to confirm if the direction has changed," Siyu said in understanding. "All right, we'll know the results tomorrow. Let's go back and rest." Sima Yue clapped her hands and said. On the morning of the second day, Sima Yue heard Siyu shouting in her tent. "Yue, it really moved." Sima Yue went out and saw that the flag facing the dart had moved to the side. The dart was between it and another small flag. Sima Yue stepped forward and kept the flag. She raised her hand and the dart landed in her hand. "It seems that my guess is correct. This is only the result of one night. It must have been moving during the day as well." Her expression was solemn as she looked at the vast desert outside the oasis. No wonder so many people came in and never came out. Because, no matter which direction he went, it might not be the right one. "We can't feel any changes because we're already on the ground," Siyu said. "That means we can't get out either." "No. For others, they might not be able to leave. But we don't have to worry about this problem." After Sima Yue finished speaking, she called out a few thousand scarlet bees and ordered them to fly in all directions. There would always be scarlet bees that could find it. Siyu looked at the densely packed scarlet bees and touched her arm. She was sure that she had goosebumps. "You're really something. With them, all we need to do is wait here." "Yes," Sima Yue said. "They will probably take some time to get out. Let's just wait here for news. This is good, but unfortunately it's too hot. It's a little uncomfortable." Siyu went back to the tent and changed into a fresh set of clothes. When she came out, she saw Sima Yue preparing food again. After a while, a bowl of cold and delicious fruit salad was placed in front of her. Half of it was filled with ice cubes. "Wow. I was just saying that I lost my appetite because of the heat. I didn't expect you to make this." Siyu was pleasantly surprised as she hugged the plate and ate. "You're a dark spiritual master, and the dark spiritual energy in your body is of the cold attribute. That's why you'll feel uncomfortable in this hot desert," Sima Yue said. "Although this can't cure the root of the problem, it can still help to relieve the heat temporarily." Yes, it's delicious. Thank you, Yue." Siyu looked at her gratefully. She was the one who protected her in Ghost City. Now she was the one who took care of her. This friend of hers was really the right one. They waited in the oasis for 4 days before the scarlet bees came back with news. This time, Sima Yue didn't use her spiritual energy. Instead, she let Chongming and Little Rock take turns and fly out of the desert day and night. When they returned to the campsite, Siyu's guards ran over first. "Miss, where did you go? Your subordinates were so worried." "I just went for a walk with Yue." "What are you all so worried about?" Siyu waved at them. She didn't like them watching her so closely. "They're worried about you." Si Hui and Si came out of the tent. "Second brother, third brother? Why are you guys here?" Siyu looked at them and smiled as she held their arms. "Did you guys also want to see what the human realm is like?" "They couldn't find you, so they informed Father. Father told us to come and see you." Si Hui said. "You've only been out for a short while and you've already caused such a ruckus. You guys came too quickly." Siyu stuck out her tongue. Sima Yue was surprised to see them. It seemed like Ghost City had a special way of coming here. "Second brother, third brother." She bowed to them. "We were actually quite worried about Lil Sis. When we heard that she went out with you, we waited here for you guys to come back," Ziyi said. His words were full of trust. "What? I'm clearly stronger than you, Wei. Why do you say it as if I'm the one who's stronger?" Siyu pouted and protested like a child. "I've always been worried about you," said Ce as he tickled her nose. Although Sima Yue wasn't very strong, she was very calm and careful. Otherwise, she wouldn't have caused such a huge commotion in Ghost City. As for her, her strength was higher than Yu Yu's, but her personality was careless and impatient. It really made people feel uneasy. Wu Lingyu came out of the tent. Sima Yue saw him and walked over with a smile. "Why are you back so quickly?" "I heard that you guys went missing, so I rushed back." Wu Lingyu said. "What happened?" "I did find out some secrets about the desert. I'll tell you when we get in." Perhaps Sima Yue's expression was too serious. Si Hui and the rest also became serious. Did they really experience something in the past few days? They entered the tent and Sima Yue told them about her experience in the desert. After listening to her, they all frowned. The oasis could actually change directions? Was it only the oasis or was it the case for the entire desert? Those people who went in to scout probably couldn't come out because of this. Si Hui said. "Luckily, you were here this time. Otherwise, Lil Sis wouldn't have been able to come out." "Third brother, you're too kind. If it wasn't for me, we wouldn't have been in such danger. However, we managed to find out some things about the desert. It's a good thing." Sima Yue smiled. "Now we have to solve the problem of direction first. If we can't solve it, it'll be too dangerous to go in." Chapter 1488. For the next few days, Sima Yue and the rest stayed at the campsite and did not enter the desert again. He still had some lingering fears about what had happened last time. On this day, Sima Yue and Wu Lingyu went out for a stroll. There was a hillside not far from their campsite. They watched the desert sunset from the hillside. The scenery was beautiful. "You only went back to the Sage Pavilion the last time. Is it alright if you don't go back now?" The person in command over there is one of the deputy pavilion lords, Miao Hoshin. I have never gotten along with him. He was very unhappy that I had suddenly become the Holy Sun. So there's no need for me to show my face there. Wu Lingyu hugged her waist and sat down. The afterglow of the setting sun shone on the two of them, making them feel peaceful and warm. Sima Yue leaned in his arms and looked at the reddish-yellow sand under the setting sun. Looking at it this way, this desert is really beautiful. But now no one dares to take a step closer. She sighed. Last time, if not for the fact that she had so many scarlet bees, she would definitely have been trapped inside and died. In such a place, it was really not easy to find the ancient mining area. The scenery was as beautiful as a painting, but inside, every step was filled with danger. "We just need to figure out the pattern here," Wu Lingyu said. "That's easier said than done. The desert is so big, any slight movement could change the situation." Sima Yue had thought of this idea before, but she gave up in the end. Because this project was too big, she might not be able to figure out the pattern even if she spent a few decades. "That's true," Wu Lingyu said. "Do you trust me?" Sima Yue looked up at him. Why did he suddenly ask this? If I take you in, will you believe me? Wu Lingyu asked. In the depths of the desert, your scarlet bees might not be able to find the source. They might all die before they even reach the edge of the desert. Under such circumstances, do you still dare to follow me in? He lowered his head, and their gazes were glued together. Sima Yue laughed. Why wouldn't I dare? At most he would be trapped inside. With the spirit pagoda, there was no need to worry about the lack of water inside. As long as there is no shortage of water, we will always come out. As long as you're here, it doesn't matter where we are. Are you going to marry a prostitute? Wu Lingyu smiled and kissed her gently on the lips. Are you Jay? It's just a metaphor. Don't be so picky. That's not a word. That's the literal meaning. Don't be naughty. I didn't. When they returned to the camp, they realized that something was wrong with indignation. Their tent was surrounded by 3 layers of people, inside and outside. The two of them looked at each other and quickly ran over. I've already said that your daughter's disappearance has nothing to do with my Yue. Don't pin everything on us. Siyu's angry voice came from inside. If it has nothing to do with her, does that mean it has something to do with you? I heard that you had a fight with them the day before they disappeared. You must have killed them in revenge. A woman angrily accused. TSK kill them? If it wasn't for Yue, they would have been killed the day before. It's a pity that Yue came and stopped our fight. Siyu scoffed. It's really you. The woman shouted and was about to hit Siyu when Sihui grabbed her arm. I don't care who you are. If you dare to touch a hair on my little sister, I'll destroy you. With that, he flung her arm away and threw her to the side. Yangshi's mother, Wei Xuezhu, looked at his gaze and shuddered. This person's gaze was so scary. Humph, old woman. I was polite to you just now because Yangshi and Yue know each other. You're Yangshi's mother. Don't think that we'll be afraid of you just because you brought so many people here. Siyu shouted. The news of Yangshi and the rest's disappearance has been spread around the camp. They must have run to the desert by themselves. They're looking for death. What do you mean by a mad dog biting people here? Do you think that everyone will be afraid of you just because you're from the 16th state? Humph. There are some people you can provoke and some people you can't. Sima Yue listened from outside, and the corners of her lips curled up. She was indeed from Ghost City. Her words were so domineering. If she was worried that Siyu would get into trouble outside before, she wasn't worried at all after Si Hui and the rest arrived. If they could rush over so quickly, then the others in Ghost City could do the same. Even if Siyu messed up the heavens outside, they would definitely rush over to make up for it. What's going on? Wei Xuezhu was about to retaliate when she heard a light voice from outside. The guards outside moved aside and Sima Yue and Wu Lingyu walked in. Yue, you're back. Siyu waved at her. What's going on? This is? Sima Yue walked over and asked again. Oh, she's Yangshi's mother. She couldn't find her daughter, and came to us to ask for her. Siyu said. She's being unreasonable. Everyone knows that they ran to the desert and died. Why did she come to us to ask for her? Looking for Yangshi? Sima Yue's face flashed with surprise. She wasn't with us. Why would she come here to look for them? Stop playing dumb. Someone said that you guys disappeared at the same time. If you didn't leave with them, then what did you do? I think you've misunderstood. Siyu and I just went for a walk nearby. She didn't want the guards to follow us, so we left quietly. However, we came back a few days later. Sima Yue said. Just like what Siyu said, everyone knows that they went to the desert. If we went into the desert, would we be able to come out? It seems that those who went in never came out. Who would believe your nonsense? Wei Xuezhu scoffed. Don't be so shameless. If you continue to be unreasonable, don't blame us for being impolite. Siyu shouted. Impolite? How are you going to be impolite? A bunch of dark spirit masters dare to be impudent on the mainland. Just as Wei Xuezhu finished speaking, she was surrounded by a cold aura, and felt as if she had fallen into an ice cellar. Following that, her internal organs felt as if they had been displaced. Following that, she was flung away and landed heavily on the ground, spitting out a mouthful of blood. My Ghost City's people have no place for you to talk nonsense. Ce was more direct than Si Hui. This domineering attack made Wei Shuazhu unable to resist at all. Sima Yue stared at Ce in shock. She didn't even see how he attacked, and this person was already heavily injured. Siyu saw her shocked expression and smiled. Second brother is the strongest out of all of us. He has the bloodline of that side. Sima Yue was stunned. That side? Ghost Clan. Chapter 1489. Compared to her contemplation, Wei Shuazhu was rather shocked. Ghost City? Wasn't that a legendary place? Although it was a legendary place, people at their level knew that if they met people from Ghost City, they must not provoke them. Madam. The guards quickly surrounded her, and were about to attack Ce. Stop. Wei Shuazhu quickly stopped them. How could they dare to provoke the people of Ghost City? Madam. The guard turned around in surprise. This didn't seem like Madam's style. She was injured, but she had to swallow her anger? This was too inconceivable. Wei Shuazhu crawled up from the ground and looked at them warily. Seeing that they had no intention of making a move, she ordered the people around her, "Let's go." Although the guards were very surprised, they still obeyed her orders and left with her. It seems like these people know about Ghost City. Sima Yue said confidently. We can't be sure if the others know. But that woman knows, Wu Lingyu said. With their status, they will know a lot of things that others don't. You're right. But second brother, won't Ghost City be exposed if you do this? Sima Yue asked. If it's exposed, then so be it. Ghost City isn't a shameful place. Ce didn't care. We just haven't been in contact with the outside world. It's not that we're afraid of the outside world. That place was not a place that anyone could go. People like you are still very rare. Not everyone is trapped in Ghost City by Koan. Sima Yue laughed. Now Yangshi's matter can be considered resolved. We can be quiet for a while. Siyu giggled. Next, let's think of a way to solve this problem. In the following days, the Yang clan really didn't come again. The Fang clan and the Li clan didn't even show up. Ever since Wu Lingyu said those words last time, he had never mentioned anything about going in again. He even disappeared from time to time. Yue. Siyu ran in from outside and saw Sima Yue reading a book. She ran over with a grin and sat beside her. She picked up the tea on the table and took a sip. What's wrong? Why are you in such a hurry? Sima Yue raised her head and looked at her. Yangshi and the others' bodies have been found, Siyu said after finishing her cup of tea. You found it? Sima Yue was a little surprised. It seemed like the Yang family was quite capable to be able to find it. Yeah, I heard that only bones are left, Siyu said. Did they say anything? Sima Yue asked. What else can I say? In the end, it was said that Yangshi and the others had run inside and encountered a spirit beast. They were no match for it and were killed. It has nothing to do with us. Siyu laughed very happily. Let me tell you, the funniest thing is that their bones are all scattered into pieces, and you can't tell who belongs to who. It's such a pity that someone can still collect his corpse after such a long time, Sima Yue said with a faint smile. Why didn't they get lost when they went in? Siyu had always been curious about this. When we went in, most of the time we walked around the edges, so we didn't go very deep. Later on, we got lost because we walked in the wrong direction. As for them, as long as they find Yangshi and the others' bodies, they won't get lost if they walk in the opposite direction, Sima Yue said. So as long as they know the direction, they won't get lost, Siyu said. If we go in and know the direction, we might not get lost. It's a pity that all the guiding spirit tools can't be used in there. Sima Yue and the others had tried before. When they took out their compasses, the needle would spin non-stop and they couldn't guide the way at all. There will be a solution, Sima Yue said. Yeah. I believe that you'll think of a solution too. I'll go out and scout again. If there's any news, I'll tell you immediately. All right. Go on. Ever since the news of Siyu and the others coming from Ghost City spread, all the powerhouses restrained their people from provoking them. No matter where Siyu went now, She didn't have to worry about anyone messing with her. So she didn't have to worry about her safety at all. Siyu went out again. Sima Yue lowered her head and wanted to continue reading, but she couldn't calm down. In this world where the strong preyed on the weak, if you weren't strong enough, you would only be bullied. When Wei Xuezhu came that day, it was obvious that she wanted to find someone to vent her anger on. Although everyone knew that she didn't seem to have anything to do with this matter, but because she was weak, she wanted to use her as a punching bag. That day, if it wasn't for CE and the others blocking in front of her, it would have been difficult for her to solve this matter. So, she had to increase her own strength. Thinking of this, she felt a sense of urgency towards the ancient mining area. If she could get some of it, she could also increase her own strength. However, she had to find a solution first. One day later, Wu Lingyu came back and brought Sima Yue out of the tent quietly. "What's wrong?" Sima Yue saw his secretive look and asked. "Let's go in," Wu Lingyu said. "To the desert?" Sima Yue was slightly surprised. He hadn't mentioned it for half a month since the last time. Why did he suddenly want to bring her in now? "Yeah. You're not going to tell them?" "The situation inside is uncertain. I'm confident that I can bring you in, but there are too many of them. If I can't take care of them all, you'll be sad if they die," Wu Lingyu said. "I'll leave them a message." When Siyu found out, Sima Yue and Wu Lingyu were already in the desert. Even if they followed them now, they wouldn't be able to catch up. This fellow dares to tell me not to go in no matter what. "When I see her again, I'll skin her alive," Siyu roared. Ce and Sihui felt that Sima Yue's attitude was quite good. No matter what was in the ancient mining area, it had nothing to do with dark spiritual masters. They couldn't use anything that wasn't of the dark attribute. So there wasn't much point in them going into the desert. If it was too dangerous and meaningless, it was best not to get involved. Previously, when Siyu wanted to go, they could only accompany her. Now that she couldn't go, they could heave a sigh of relief. "Don't be angry. Didn't she leave you a temporary life jade? As long as it's not broken, it means that she's safe. Don't worry," Sihui said. "Who said I'm worried?" "Humph, I'm just unhappy that she didn't bring me along," Siyu shouted. "That fellow don't let me see her again." Sima Yue rubbed her nose. "That fellow must be scolding me, saying that I didn't bring her along to play. I say, you did it on purpose, right?" You're tuning in to the Li Mei's Wuxia Whispers YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support, and don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.